Morning, Mr. Best.
Good morning.
Why don't you get started with your case? Morning, my name is Frazier. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing that the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mr. Best. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Good morning.
Sir, please state your name and the make number for the record.
Daris Best, 419-787.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Daris Best, inmate number 49787. He is serving a sentence of 8 years, execution suspended after 30 months, followed by 5 years probation for possession with intent to sell or dispense narcotics, a violation of probation with the underlying offense of legal transfer and purchase of a pistol or revolver, and 2 counts sale of narcotic substance. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of February 28, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs: Voices, Tier 4, domestic violence, anger management, alternatives to violence, both basic and advanced. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score in the SRT falls within a high range of risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning to all the board members. I would like to thank the members of the board for giving me this rare opportunity today. First, please allow me to apologize to the parole board, residents of New Haven Police Department, and the courts. I am sincerely sorry for committing crimes that both community and state leaders worked so hard to eradicate. I know that words can't fix what I've done in my past. However, I do deeply regret being a part of the problem. I would also like to apologize to my support system, starting with my mother. Through thick and thin, you have always shown me right from wrong and raised me to be a well-mannered, smart, caring, selfless individual, instilled with morals, responsibility, and integrity. Even though I allowed the influences of my environment to overshadow these traits. As you are well aware, I am currently incarcerated for a violation of parole. That violation was a result of my offending in the exact same manner in which I did that resulted in my original charges: possession with intent to sell a narcotic substance. Due to my lack of knowledge and skills to properly reintegrate back into society and secure employment, I took the easy way out and resorted back to my old habits. Before returning to jail, I thought I knew and had all the tools to succeed, and I didn't. I never truly understood how drugs affected the community, and I now realize that I was part of the problem. By possessing and distributing narcotics in an environment already plagued by violence and drug abuse only served to perpetuate that problem. I take full responsibility and make no excuse for that part I played in spreading the disease or my past actions that led me back here in front of the panel today. However, the one tool I did not equip myself with at that time was the ability to handle failure. In retrospect, I can now look back and acknowledge the fact that I tried to do too much, too fast, overwhelming myself in the process. I didn't plan on having a child right away, and when I found out about the impending responsibility of being a parent, it threw a wrench in my plans. With that new sense of responsibility weighing on my shoulders, it led me back into my old habits in a misguided effort to be able to provide financially for my daughter. I have since learned through multiple parenting courses that my presence is worth more than anything money can buy. When I subsequently collapsed under the weight of placing unrealistic expectations on myself, that feeling of failure spun me out of control. It was then that I relapsed into old destructive behaviors. I began using again and turned to the past practice of selling to support my habit. This proved to be one of the worst decisions I have ever made, quite obviously. And it is important to note that in explaining my behavior, I am offering reasoning and self-analysis, not excuses for that behavior. Because quite frankly, that behavior was inexcusable. It could have been avoided if I had simply humbled myself and asked for help when I encountered failure. Unfortunately, my ego did not allow me to do that. Most of all, I thought I knew who I truly was. I was lying to myself by thinking that who I was pretending to be was who I wanted to be. Thanks to the time program, I found out who I, Daris Best, truly is, and that I am worth more than whatever I thought I was while under the influence. I do understand I have no control over my addiction, but I do have complete control over my recovery and the life I desire to pursue. Today, I am very remorseful and full of regret for my past actions. I am currently incarcerated at the Cybulski institution where I'm in the Second Chance program, where I take the necessary step towards a successful future. Change only comes when you want it for yourself, so I took the initiative to seek mental health assistance. This was necessary to get to the core of the problem, which was myself. I followed this up by seeking strict workforce reintegration education, which I found beyond helpful and necessary to complete my recovery and rehabilitation as a whole. During my incarceration, I've completed Tier 4, script, anger management, voices, 90 for 90, C-card, relapse prevention, AVP, and AVP advanced. Daily Dad, domestic violence, knowing your triggers, Boys to Men, and Silent Sons, and many more. Additionally, I took the initiative to further my education and knowledge by purchasing a parenting and substance abuse course with my own money from ACCI, which I found beyond helpful and expanded my knowledge towards both subjects. While in the Second Chance unit, I found myself gravitating towards many programs and mentor sessions facilitated by the older, wiser members in the unit who, through deep conversation, helped me discover some untapped potential I had within myself that I wouldn't have realized without digging deep. They have helped me to embrace new opportunities and uphold good habits, which is the motto of our therapeutic community. I hold myself 100% accountable to that ideal, and I'm going to break the cycle of recidivism by being accessible to the tools and resources the program has to offer. Voices is a program I continue to learn from daily due to me applying that knowledge to my day-to-day life, understanding that no crime is a victimless crime, as well as understanding the impact my decision-making has on the community. C-CAR has opened my eyes to a whole new world. Today, I am learning to face my addiction and the impact it had on me and everyone around me. I now know to ask for help, and I look forward to taking full advantage of the opportunities I have to reach the peak of my potential. I look forward to volunteering at the Warm Center Helpline to be able to give back to those like myself affected by the disease of addiction. Tier 4 was one of the most beneficial programs I have ever taken while incarcerated, being it broke me down and built me back up bigger and better with a pure, good, and clean foundation to be able to build the empire and life I desire. Phase 1 helped me recognize that a change in thinking patterns gives you the power to change your actions and behaviors. Phase 2 allowed me to understand how my thinking and behavior patterns impacted my relationships, as well as learn new communication skills to have better conversations now that I am clear-minded. In Phase 3, we examined positive and negative impacts of criminal behavior and substance abuse. We came to an understanding of the role that criminal and addictive patterns play in your thought process and decision-making. Once we recognized this, we discovered a new path to a new way of thinking, unlearning bad habits, and replacing them with good ones. During the 4th and final phase, we established and created relapse prevention plans, as well as identifying our triggers and cravings and what to do when those feelings and thoughts occur. We also identified warm centers near us to go to when the need arises, as well as NA and AA meetings in our areas. I can assure you that I will locate and attend a meeting on day 1 outside of prison walls. Today, I am fully aware that measures will avail me nothing. Relapse prevention has effectively taught me that relapse is a part of the process. Relapses are not caused by a lack of willpower, but are caused by a lack of coping skills to manage our addiction and criminal behavior. Recovery isn't a I language, it's a we language. We walk the path of recovery together. Also learning to live a balanced lifestyle all around to improve mental well-being. Most importantly, how to stay abstinent from drug and criminal behavior, all while understanding and learning that probation and parole can be a positive and supportive experience that can help us manage our freedom. With an eye toward improving my ability to be the best possible parent I can be, I made the conscious decision to take part in many parenting programs within the DOC that I possibly could. I was bound and determined to be the father that my child Iris deserved, and the supportive partner that her mother needed me to be. I came to grips with the difficult position I had put the mother of our child in because of my bad decisions. She was left alone, essentially a single parent for years due to my selfish and shameless actions. These invaluable programs helped teach me to empathize with her struggles, to listen better, and to take the necessary steps to ensure that I am there for her and our child in the future. It will take patience, time, and understanding, but today I know that we can get there and that I can get there. Click has showed me how to create a good line of communication with my significant other which will only benefit our daughter, Daris. This valuable program has empowered me with ways to teach my daughter solid morals through effective communication and leading by example. In doing so, I will help to enhance her self-worth and continued development. Judy Durham program has helped me feel what it is like to be a present father, being I have been incarcerated since my child was born. It made me feel like I now have something to live for, as well as reflecting deeply about who I am, have been, and hope to be. Also taking healthy, creative risks and enhancing family relations. SCRIP is an amazing program that I participated in while in prison, but it also has a component that I will complete once I am released. These two separate components, one inside and one outside, work in conjunction to help provide me with the best possible chance for a successful reentry into society. SCRIP teaches us how to deal from past traumatic experiences. This will allow me to grow and flourish mentally as it teaches me what trauma bonding is, how to avoid and overcome these unhealthy bonds and instead create healthy ones. SCRIP will provide me with the following indispensable services: unemployment assistance, which will help me find and secure a good job; clinical services, which aids clients with arranging mental health care and one-on-one therapy sessions, thereby promoting emotional well-being and personal growth; and case management, which will address my specific needs, help me set realistic, attainable goals, and provide continuous support throughout the reintegration process. Unlike before, I now realize and understand the effect the deadly disease of addiction has on myself and others when untreated. I was in denial without realizing it. I must admit, it was tough asking for help, as I didn't know how I'd be looked at once doing so. But I can now say from the bottom of my heart, I needed this valuable life lesson to realize this isn't the road I want to go down any further. I really needed to learn and understand the facts and harmful risks of being infected and affecting those like myself with drugs. Most importantly today, I understand that drug addiction is a disease that only has 3 outcomes: jails, institutions, or death. I am now fully aware of that fact and beyond ready to help myself and others affected by this disease before any of those 3 outcomes are reached. Before any of those 3 outcomes are reached. I am ready to prove I am not the same person I was before. I am sober, more knowledgeable, and see clearly as to why I must take the initiative to make a difference. Today, you may ask yourself, what is different about me this time? First and foremost, I have grown up and educated myself on necessary resources to live a righteous path moving forward. This will give me a far better chance at long-term success. Also, I have to mention the simple fact that a major catalyst for this change this time is the following. I am now a parent myself. Knowing I have someone who depends on me completely has drastically altered my outlook on life. As I chart this path of personal growth and development, I am now fully aware that I have to be a role model for my daughter, Daris. This includes no longer seeking instant gratification nor acting on impulse. I am learning to exercise patience and better decision making. I have changed my thought process. I have modified the way I think and feel, thereby improving the way I act and behave. It had a profound effect on me, not being there for the birth of my first child. And while this impact on myself is in fact profound, it pales in comparison to the fact that Daris has not had her father present for the first year of her life. I have missed this incredible formative period in my daughter's life, and I am beyond and determined to be there for her from this point moving forward. She deserves nothing less. My relapse prevention plan is extremely important to my success upon returning to society. Truth be told, this played a major part in my return into incarceration, as not having a reentry plan in writing to turn to led me down the wrong path. I now have a solid reentry plan and wellness plan to ensure I will succeed this time. I have provided these plans to the board, and I am ready and willing to answer any questions you may have concerning them. I am deeply apologetic for my actions, and I will use that remorse and fuel positive action moving forward. Given that I have all that I have laid out for you today, I am respectfully requesting that you see fit to grant me an early release through the parole system. Should you make a decision, I assure you it is one that I will never give you reason to regret. But whatever decision you hand down today, please know that I will not be deterred from my chosen path, a path that leads to a better me, a better life for myself and my daughter. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
All right, Mr. Best, thank you for your statement. I don't have to explain the process because you were here less than 2 years ago. So we'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. Best.
Good morning.
I just want to get the obvious thing out of the way. And I don't have many questions based upon your presentation, but you have to understand how we feel right now about seeing you again, right?
Yes.
Disappointed.
Very.
You went out there, you were given a chance, and it was like right back to the same thing. So I just want to let you know that as I see that, that's first feeling. But
Yes.
past that, you've done a lot of work since you've been back in. You have put together a really good relapse plan. You put together a plan to do something with employment and vocational things.
Yes.
Because you got to stop being the drug dealer.
Yes.
I mean, you laid everything else out when you gave your statement. You talked about simply everything that I could have asked the question about. So I don't have anything for this.
Thank you. You're very lucky, Mr. Best, that you haven't killed someone yet. You know, we see on the news fentanyl, people are dying every day. And
Yes.
You're poisoning the community. You have no idea what happens after you sell those drugs to somebody. You lasted 3 months after you took a lot of these same programs. You were mentoring, you were in the second chance program. You did all the right things, didn't get any tickets, your last incarceration. And then you literally blew it all within a few months. How do you fall on hard times that quickly?
Due to not utilizing the right resources and the actual support system that is there that loves and care and accept me for who I am and not for what I can do for them. And just not surrounding myself around the people who love me the most for who I am.
Right. I mean, it really appears that you didn't do anything right. You just went back and that you never planned to do anything right. That's what it looks like to me. You didn't even try. You have to do better.
Yes, ma'am.
Because basically what you're telling us is that you learned nothing from your last incarceration. All those programs you took meant nothing. You sound sincere today. You've done everything you could possibly do. There's nothing more that we can offer you in the facility. The only thing left is for you to go out there and make some use of this. You're wasting all your years. And you traded 6 months of incarceration for an additional 3 years of probation when you went to court. So
Yes.
You're going to be supervised for longer, which means you have to do better, or you're just going to end up spending your 30s in prison too. You understand that?
Yes, and that was a conversation that I had with the Honorable Judge Frank Iannotti when that sentence modification took place.
Right. Good. Okay. Did we reach his girlfriend, Officer Schimmer? Didn't say so in the disc, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
I was looking for that. Did you get your license when you were out there? Because last panel had you.
No,
You did not, right?
I have my permit, so
that's
during
not a
that-
license. You can't drive with a permit with all kinds of people in your car.
Yeah, so
Ms. Zaposasu?
So, Mr. Best, I'm struggling with some of the same pieces that my colleagues are. You know, it's frustrating to see someone like you, who your sister described as you were in the top 20% of your high school class, according to the letter she submitted on your behalf. And then we just see the evading and the recklessness and, the police department having to smash windows to gain compliance. But I'd like to think that there are catalysts and moments in our lives where that change actually happens. And if it's the birth of your daughter that is now compelling that change, I hope that all that you've told us today is actually true. You have a lot of life left to live, and you have a lot hanging over your head if you violate probation this time. It's a lot of years. You'll miss the first day of kindergarten. You'll miss a whole bunch of things if you come back here. So I was just curious. My one question is to expand a little bit upon your supports with your release plan. You are relocating because you've identified New Haven as a risk. What other supports are you going to have in Meriden?
My significant other, my child, and my sister is a huge one, as well as my mom. But most importantly, I'll really be going to script 5 days a week and just connecting with them and just building on mentally, because mental willpower, it means a lot, especially when you're out there and hard times do come about, because your mental is before you even commit a crime, you're mentally committing a crime. So as long as I have control of my mental well-being, I will be A-okay. And with Script, they provide all of those resources as well as employment. So that'll be my 5 days a week place I will be attending soon as possible.
Thank you.
You're all set? Okay, we did get support letters from your family members, and you got excellent evaluations from the facility. So, all right, Mr. Paul.
I mean, it's all been said.
Yeah.
I think he's done the work he needs to do to get a
Yeah.
good chance in the community.
Yeah, he's got to go out there and save the community.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I have a halfway house if needed, no co-defendants and driving. Anything further?
So,
All right, in the matter of Daris Best, inmate number 419787, I'll move to grant parole effective, what is today's date? March 26, 2025, with the following additional conditions. Halfway house placement if it's needed. We couldn't reach your proposed sponsor. No contact with the co-defendants, Ariel Sykes or Treya Frazier, and no driving without your parole officer's permission. You have to get a license. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Mr. Best, go out there and do some good stuff, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate
Talk
it
to you.
deeply. Thank you.
Concludes the hearing for Daris Best, number 419-7877.
Been here with you how many times? Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you, everyone? Hope everyone's
What's the last name?
Blunt.
You good to go?
Blunt. Yes.
All right, Mr. Blunt, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Morning, my name is Officer Shamrock. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning by stating their names on record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information preparation in this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer
Good
Zaccanini.
morning, Mike Cole.
And I'm
Morning.
Ellen Zappa Sasu.
Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Keenan Blunt, 429974.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Keenan Blunt, inmate number 429974, serving a sentence of 2 years and 1 day, followed by 2 years special parole for criminal possession of a firearm, ammunition, or defense weapon, and a violation of probation for the underlying offense of legal possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of April 18, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. There's been a review that shows the offender has completed the following programs: domestic violence, utilizing the statewide funded offender risk evaluation system. The offender's overall score in the SRT falls within a moderate range of risk for the citizens. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should grant a parole. Maybe again.
Yes. I really believe that I'm a good person. I don't feel like I'm a bad person. I know I made a lot of bad mistakes. I was hanging around the wrong crowds.
And to be honest, ever since I did catch this case, I really started to reevaluate my life and the people that I hung around. Like I stopped hanging around these people because I seen that the first few times that I went to jail, I didn't really learn my lesson. Like I bumped my head, but it was like I kept going around the same people and we started doing the same things. So it's like, I'm starting to get older. I'm 27 now, and I don't want to keep going back or come back to jail, especially this last time. Just in August, I just lost my grandfather, and I was raised by my grandparents. So they're a big part of my life. And with that being said, my grandmother's just getting older, you know, so I don't want to keep coming back to jail or doing jail time, and I won't have enough time to be with her. And if you will, I do have a letter that I did write for the board.
Go ahead.
So good morning. Thanks for seeing me today. And I'm Mr. Blunt. I'm on the road to recovery and a new way of living. And I would like to apologize to the community and my family for the way I've conducted myself. As I reflect back on my actions, I am embarrassed. In my opinion, life is about choices and decisions. And at a young age, I started making very bad choices and decisions to the point where my life as I knew it had spiraled out of control. Up until now, I had made excuses for my choices and actions. I wouldn't say I didn't have the proper guidance, or I blame my neighborhood. But the 27-year-old man who stands before you today, I take full responsibility for my choices and decisions. I'm certain that there are countless people with similar upbringings as me that use their circumstances as fuel, inspirations, and motivation to become overachievers. I messed up a bunch of times. Why so late in my life, I am deciding that I want to change. I'm tired of living this in insanity. I want to be a better person, not only for myself, but for my community. But any person that has a mouth can say that they want to change. So for the last 2 years and 10 months, that includes from when I bonded out, as well as my time being incarcerated, I put an action plan behind change. I feel change starts with self-discipline of criminal and addictive thinking, and how everything around us throughout our lives influences how I think. So while being incarcerated, I have completed the DV program. I participated in CCAR groups, enrolled in Tier 2, as well as enrolling in the college courses for business management. I have also enrolled in the CDL program, and all of which I plan to continue upon my release back into the community. The DV program has taught me a lot of things, even things I didn't know about myself. It taught me about the different types of communication and abuse. Verbal abuse stuck with me the most, because I didn't realize how I verbally abused those that I love with my tone, how I've said things, and how it may affect people. I've been working on my communication a lot more. The program offers tools needed to be a positive member of society. And if I was released today, I will go back to my job I worked prior to my incarceration, working the group home field. I made great relationships with my clients, coworkers, and managers who I still associate with. And I also have a position waiting for me upon my release. I love what I do. I love helping people, my individuals that need the extra care, love, and patience. It gives me purpose. I'm not closed off to working any jobs that are available to help me get started my rehabilitation. And in closing, I would like to thank the board for allowing me to stand before you. I understand parole is a privilege, and I'm very grateful. I also want to thank the DV program for giving me the opportunity to better myself. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Blunt, for that statement. We're going to ask you some questions, okay? You're a fast talker like me, so I want to back up a little bit. Did you say you're in college courses?
Yeah, I signed up, so I have an orientation tomorrow. Yeah.
You're supposed to start tomorrow?
No, we have an orientation for the Pell program tomorrow, because I signed up some months back, but I guess they had needed some of my tax information, so I had to wait.
So you were just accepted to the Pell program?
Yes.
And you can use that on the outside in the community? Okay.
I hope so, actually.
And the CDL program in Tier 2? Again, programs you signed up for but are not in?
Yes, well, the Tier 2, I start actually April 14th, but the CDL program, they don't have here, so I have to reapply. And hopefully, if I am or not approved, then hopefully I can get moved to maybe Brooklyn, where they do have the program.
Okay, so why would you need Tier 2? Because you say you don't use drugs, right?
No, but I mean, it was a referral, so I just wanted to do it. Just because I wanted to kill time and get out of the dorm and be able to at least learn something. I like to keep moving. I don't like to be stagnant and not actually utilizing what's offered to me.
Yeah, I was just trying to determine the need. But when you say you don't use drugs, does that mean you don't smoke marijuana every day?
No, I did, but as of now, no. And I don't plan to either, because like I said,
you need a clear mind, and if you want to drive a truck, you can't be smoking either. And okay. All right. So here's my concern, Mr. Blunt, is that you're back for the same thing you were on probation for, right? The drugs. And maybe it is that you didn't do enough time, because I noticed in your records, you haven't been to a big prison. This is your first time. You did the county jails for few months at a time. And maybe that just wasn't enough for you. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking as well.
You needed a
And
big
that's why I
wake
feel
up
like,
call.
yes, and this was the one for me, especially losing my grandfather in the midst of me doing my time, and I was only in for 2 months. I'm like, no, this has to stop. I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah. All right. So tell us why you need, or why you had a gun. Young and dumb is not an explanation. Tell us why you had a gun.
To be honest, I want to say the people that I hung around, I felt like maybe it was cool, or I needed to have it be due to the people that I hang around because of the attraction or the things that they had going on. So the time that I was bonded out and I was out on bond, I actually stopped dealing with those people, especially when you come to jail, you see people for who they really are. Like, you help people out, and when you're in need, they don't have the same mindset or the same heart as you. So it's like, I don't need these people around, especially if they're not doing anything for me, and they become liabilities, especially where you know that you're headed. So
right. And you had a job, right?
Yes.
You were doing that, right?
Yes.
And you're going to go back, you said, is it Keystone?
Yes. Yeah. Keystone, and I also was doing Turo. I'm not sure if you see that up there. Turo is I'm not sure if you guys know, it's a rental business. It's basically like, say if you were to buy a car, maybe you have 2 cars, maybe one is your daily and one you leave in the driveway or the garage. You can actually put it up on Turo to rent it out, so that it's actually making money. And my cousin, we were actually doing that. We have about 30 cars on our fleet right now, and it's from here and to Florida. So he lives in Florida, but we have a lot of our vehicles out here in Connecticut. Nice.
Okay. Tell us about your fight in October.
That I was going through a lot of things around that time. And not only that, it was my fault. I feel like I could have avoided it, but it was so much built up anger. And the guy that I had the altercation with, to be honest, we've had a few words a lot of times. And it's like to the point where I've talked to him many times to try to get something done, and he didn't want to do it. And he was just really disrespectful. And I acted out when I shouldn't have, but it could have went a different way.
Do you have a problem with anger?
No. But I had a lot going on.
If you fight like that out in the community, you're going to come back.
Yeah, I don't get into that though. But like I said, I just lost my grandfather, and actually the day that I actually had the altercation was my father's birthday as well. So I wasn't able to.
But you know what? There's always going to be some excuse, right? There's always going to be a loss or a stressor in life.
And that was my fault.
Okay, good. I'm glad you can take responsibility for that. Thank you for speaking with me, Ms. Zaposescu.
I don't have a lot of questions for you. I mean, I saw in the history about your sister and your father being victims of violence. So it's hard for me to understand how you would want to continue to live in that lifestyle. There's a lot of things that were going right for you, Mr. Blunt. And in terms of your job, do you still have your forklift certification as well?
Yes, I do.
So you have a lot of options.
I have forklift, and I also I have my med administration certification as well.
So when you get out at whatever point you're released, are you relocating, or are you going back to the same area from which you came?
I'm actually relocating to Bloomfield, and I actually have the reference letter from my manager as well, if whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. We didn't reach his proposed sponsor, right? No. All right, so halfway house, if it's, I'd be willing to give Mr. Blunt another opportunity. It sounds like he is making strides and has been trying and is educating himself, and he just has to prove himself in the community. I have halfway house and no co-defendant. Anything further? In the matter of Keenan Blunt, inmate number 429974, I'll move to grant parole April 18th, effective April 18th, 2025, with the following additional conditions: a halfway house if it's needed because we couldn't reach her, And no contact with your co-defendant Kingsley Sarpong. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
what was that about Kingsley?
No
Who
contact.
is Kingsley?
That's one of my best friends I grew up with.
Well, you were arrested together, so he's considered a co-defendant.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Was he in the car with you when you had the gun the last time?
Yeah, that was actually his car.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good
Thank
luck to
you.
you.
This concludes the hearing for Keenan one, inmate number 42997.
Yours.
Sir, what's your name?
Oh, are you doing this?
No, go ahead.
No, sorry.
Lord,
Yes.
be right with
Who's it?
Lord.
I thought everything is smoke.
Gonna get smoke? I blood. Oh,
you. Good to go with, Lord?
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Lord, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
All right.
Morning, my name is Paroles, Chairman. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this.
good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Mike Poole.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Evan Lord, 436-856.
Hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kevin Lorde, inmate number 436-856. He's serving a sentence of 10 years, execution suspended after 3 years, followed by 5 years probation for criminal possession of a firearm or counter defense weapon, violation of a large capacity magazine requirement, violation of probation with the other offense, 2 counts reckless endangerment first, and possession of a controlled substance first offense. As of today, record reflects payroll of the 12, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs. Few thoughts. Utilizing statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score in the SRT falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
So this is my first time, and basically I don't really have a excuse of why I did what I did. It just happened, and I just messed up. And I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come with a letter because I wanted things to be from the heart. I know other people write things, and sometimes it's a good idea to write things, but I wanted to come more from the heart with it. I had a job before I was incarcerated, and I plan on having a job while I, am free, stuff like that. I do have a support system, my mother and my cousins and church people. So I do have a support system. Again, it's just no excuse for me picking up a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking accountability, like things could have went left, and that's not how anybody should conduct anything. You know what I'm saying, with a firearm or any high capacity magazine or anything like that. As far as the controlled substance, I've been going to AA meetings, I've been going to NA meetings. I know that might not be on the master file or anything like that, but I have been doing it voluntarily. I signed up for Smart Recovery. They just haven't put me in the program. While I was in county, I was working. I was doing some tier work first, and then I started working in the kitchen for 6 months.
At first, I was, what was I doing? I was the cart washer. So I used to pull and push, spray things down, make it clean. And then after that, I got promoted to juice man. So I used to feed the whole population, you know, juice and stuff like that. And they finally transferred me to Walker MacDougall to do my assessment. And then I came to Cybulski. I haven't had a job while I was in Cybulski, but I did finish my New Thoughts program. And it definitely taught me more on perspective. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned. Just, you know, learning myself is perspective. You know what I'm saying? Just like there's two sides to a coin, there's always two sides to a situation. You know what I'm saying? And I always replay those times that I got in trouble. And I think, like, yeah, there is two sides to that situation. And I failed to pick the right side. And I definitely beat myself up for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was one of those people that lived most of his life without having a felony. So now it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I have a stain on my record, but that's not something that can ultimately defeat me or deter me out of life, period. And I do understand that. So it's just one of those things where I found a new perspective on life, a new perspective on how to manage anger, how to manage decisions, how to manage my ability to speak to people. You get what I'm saying? And just overall, just my ability to understand things. You know what I'm saying? Because humanity is going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is nice to you all the time. And not all the time you want to be nice to people. But at least if there's an understanding, then you won't take some turns that you want to take, if that makes any sense. Like, I didn't have to take
Mr.
that.
Lorde, we actually have questions for you that might help you along better since you don't have a statement. You're starting to repeat yourself and not make sense, to be perfectly honest. Can we ask our questions? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we'll start with my colleague, Ms. Sasu.
Good morning, Mr. Lorde.
Mm.
I want to start with your drug and alcohol score, which is a 4. But in one of the reports that we read, you did say that you don't have a problem with drugs or alcohol. In 2023 arrest, they found ecstasy in your book bag, and then you have your possession arrest as well. So tell me about your relationship with drugs.
I don't have much of one. That was something that they found, and I was guilty because it was on my person, and I was the driver of the car. So that's pretty much what happened with that. But they never bothered to check me to even see if any was in my system.
So were you selling and not using?
Yes.
So going to the comedy club, when that situation happened, why were you there with a gun to begin with?
Honestly, I have really no answer, but I was a little intoxicated coming from a bar, and there's really no excuse for why I had a gun, to be honest. But I did end up getting assaulted, and that's kind of one of the reasons why.
Mm-hmm. So we did read about that, but one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and you haven't mentioned, is you're in a crowded place and then you start shooting at people who are just out trying to enjoy a night at a comedy club. There's been no talk about the victims of your crime. I mean, who do you identify as victims?
The public, the city, the state of Connecticut, anyone who was around me that day, my mother, because she's been affected by that. You know, she's not around to have her son every day, and I do a lot for her. My church community isn't around to, you know, talk to me and stuff like that. So there's a lot of victims. There's a lot of people affected.
Where did you get the gun?
I got it from the previous bar that I was at before I got to the comedy club.
Okay, so did you have a permit?
No, I didn't.
Have you ever been trained on how to use a gun or the magazines that you had?
No.
So when you say in your statement that things could have gone left, to me, that's a huge understatement of what possibly could have happened in a city that's already, you know, got a lot of urban violence issues. And so to me, when you talk about the two sides of a coin, Mr. Lorde, I hear here's a guy who likes to play drums and goes to a church, but you willingly take a gun while intoxicated and go to a place where there's a lot of people. You know, it's hard for us to reconcile risk to public safety when those are some of the decisions that you've made, and really not knowing whether your judgment was clouded by alcohol or anything else. So with that thought, what have you gleaned from going to AA and NA? What are some of the lessons and insights that you've gained?
One lesson is that when you drink obsessively, this is where you can come to. When you drink obsessively or use drugs obsessively, this is what can happen to you. Even worse. So this is probably the best thing that's happened. Being affected by drugs and alcohol, because the flip side of the coin is death. You know what I'm saying? So jail actually saved me in a way. Coming to jail really saved my life.
So let me go back to my first question. Do you have a problem with drugs or alcohol?
I guess in a way I did and didn't know it because of my old thoughts.
Right. Okay, so go back to your AA and NA lessons. How long have you been voluntarily going to these programs?
I've only been here for about maybe 4.5 months. So probably for the last 3 months.
Okay. Do you have a plan in place for identifying where you can continue programming upon your release?
No, not yet, no.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
That's
Mr.
no
Hall.
question.
You're very lucky that you didn't shoot someone. You understand that, right, Mr. Lorde? We'd be here for different purposes.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think there's still more work to be done?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you explain to us why you get a fair evaluation in the New Thoughts program? It's very rare. I want to start with that. It's very rare that we see a fair rating for somebody.
I have no idea why the score was fair. I came in, my attendance was good. I did the homework. I honestly don't know why it was fair. I think my score should have been a little bit better. You know, seeing as how
Usually see good or excellent when someone is really participating in a program. So it's disappointing because it's the only program you took, you know? All right. Your underlying offense, those were not your kids in the car, right? They were somebody else's children?
No, ma'am, I have no kids.
Right. Okay. All right. Are you still with your co-defendant in that case?
No.
Okay. All right. Give us a few minutes to discuss your case. We'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Ms.
Okay.
Alcacessa?
Okay. Mr. Lorde is at a low risk to recidivate. I believe that this is his first incarceration. He was on probation when this occurred. And we do have the New Thoughts evaluation, but he has voluntarily been going to A and NA, and I do see that there's some insights determined there to assist him with his insights. He signed up for Smart Recovery He has not taken a tier program. He does have an employment opportunity. So I'm actually torn between the needs more work and I think a little more detailed release plan might be something that would be beneficial. I'm anxious to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Paul?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Totally alarming is the fact that there were shots fired.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with roughly a year and a half. He just signed up for Smart Recovery, hasn't taken a tier program. I think there's more work to do as well.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with the fact that there were shots fired. So there's having a gun, and then there's you. The thing is that if it were the other way, we wouldn't even be here,
Right.
and he'd be gone until he's
Yeah.
in his 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For me, I couldn't support it either, you know, shooting in an open comedy club. And I think there is some denial about substance abuse issues. And the only program he did take, he gets a fair evaluation. I just don't see any evidence of change here or of growth here. And he was on probation at the time, carrying a gun. So it would be a denial for me.
So I would have nature and circumstance, inadequate institutional program, and inadequate evidence of offender change.
Yeah, I had while on probation, but it doesn't matter. We can take that one out. That's for programs for sure. I like that better. Okay, and he does have 5 years probation. So in the matter of Kevin Lorde, number 436-856, I'll make a motion to deny parole for the following reasons. The nature and circumstance of your current offense is inadequate program participation and inadequate evidence of offender change. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. We wish you the best, sir. Take advantage of that probation, please. Continue getting the help that you need.
All right.
Kevin Lorde, number 436-856.
Go ahead. Hey, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kellerstedt.
Good morning.
We're going to go ahead and get started. Morning, my name is Paroles. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. All these board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certify that reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information preparation in this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer
Good
Zaccanini.
morning, Mike Poole.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and MA number for the record.
Malachi Kellerstedt, 440613.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Malachi Kellerstedt, inmate number 440613. He is serving a sentence of 32 months for a violation of probation, the underlying offense, violation of probation for carrying a dangerous weapon. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of April 12, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed, shows the offender has completed the following programs. Tier 2, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offenders overall score on the SRT fall within the high range risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I wrote a small speech for you. Am I able to read that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. It says, I believe I deserve parole because I've spent this time on my self-growth. There are flaws and character defects I've noticed within myself, and I began tackling them one by one with great successes. I also think I deserve a chance to get my life right, and the structured conditions of parole and a halfway house might be exactly what I need to do that. I've begun daily meditation and NA meetings as well as active self-reflection before bed, and I've taken my Tier 2 classes, all as practical ways of working on myself. When I'm released, my employment goals will likely be skilled labor such as a warehouse worker or landscaper or temp agency work to start with. However, one of my life goals is to further my education, so hopefully better opportunities will present themselves. I feel the key differences between this time and other releases are my mindset, my new structure in my life, as well as my new focus on self-growth and sobriety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your statement. We're going to ask you some questions. When we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. And we'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. Kellerstedt.
Morning.
So one of the things that we look for in, in looking at if somebody's suitable for parole is offender change. Can you talk to us about the DR that you received in the New Thoughts program?
Yes, sir, I can. I missed 2 classes in the New Thoughts program at the very end, and one of them I was at a mental health appointment. And the second one I overslept because I was going through a really bad depression, and I overslept. That was on me. I signed the ticket for that because I think that, something that makes a difference in your mindset is taking accountability when you know you're wrong. The details of that ticket, if I was to not sign it, I could have beaten it, but I did sign it to take accountability. So I believe that that's important, and growth.
Okay. Why are you there?
Why am I here?
Yep.
I'm here for a violation of probation.
Why?
I was at a JRI bed and I completed that program, and then I was at an IOP and I moved the IOP from New Britain to Bristol. I didn't inform anybody because I wasn't reinstated on probation at the time, and I didn't know who to inform, but then they issued a warrant because they considered that me going AWOL, and I reacted poorly to that situation. I went on the run from that warrant, and I've never had a warrant before, so I didn't know how to respond to that, but it was a poor choice. I could have turned myself in and gone for a motion to vacate. I found that out later. That's not a mistake I'm going to make again.
But what I'm reading here is something about drugs.
Yes, there was a relapse when I went on the run for that warrant. Yes.
So isn't that the biggest issue?
That is one of my problems that I've been dealing with in the past few years is addiction. I'm going to NA.
Think one of the problems or the problem?
I think it's the problem. It is the underlying problem that I've been dealing with.
So the underlying on the violation of probation, what drug were you on?
I was on crack. I've been addicted to that since I was 17. My father, he introduced me to it, and I've had successes in the past, but it's something that I struggle with when I get depressed. Or when I go through rough times, I guess I've had bad coping skills. I've been trying to learn better coping skills.
So PCP wasn't involved in that?
No, I don't believe so.
Sounded to me like PCP, but it could certainly be crack.
Yeah, that was my addiction that I've been on. It's crack. I don't do PCP.
Okay, so you took tier 2. You talked about recovery plan, NA in tier 2. You talked about learning some stuff in tier 2.
Sure.
You're at Cybulski. What do you know about CCAR?
I I've seen the guy come in for CCAR. I'm not sure about what it is. No one has told me anything about that. The guy came in, I spoke to him. I believe it has to do with like recovery coaching.
Yeah.
It does?
So, yeah, you have a whole host of problems, right?
Yes.
That you need to get addressed. And one of the ways of doing that is to get help. And that recovery coach that you see coming in is connected to other recovery coaches, and especially in New Haven, where you want to go. You know, there's a recovery community center there, and there are coaches that can get you assigned to the resources that you need to address mental health, to address addiction, to connect you with meetings, to do a whole bunch of different things, right?
That sounds awesome.
And the worst possible thing that you could mindset could be is, I got this, right?
Sir,
Because if there's one thing that I look at here is like, you don't got this.
not by myself, I definitely don't.
So
If I can get into that CCAR, yeah, I think that'd be great.
So it's on the tablet when you go back to your, after the hearing.
Yes, sir.
I really don't have.
Thank you, Mr. Pohl. You did receive an excellent evaluation from the Tier 2 program. How often did you meet in Tier 2?
We went weekly.
Once a week?
Yeah,
And you finished in a month?
yeah, it was this, yeah. I have the certificate right here.
The system says he was only in it for a month. And you only went once a week?
Yeah,
I
we
thought
went
it
weekly.
used to be 12.
How long were the sessions?
I'd say about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. Maybe they changed the program. We don't know that. And New Thoughts, you did about a month and a half before you were removed. What did you learn from that program?
I learned that the best thing that you can do when you're running into the same problems over and over is to change the way that you approach those problems, the way you think about it. It's in the title, New Thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you do that?
Well, it starts by like taking a minute to analyze the problem before you react to it. You know, like you got to look at how the past version of yourself would have reacted to it and think about how you're going to do things different. It's all about changing your thought patterns.
I like that. Okay. Are you in contact with your little girl?
No, I miss her.
You don't have any contact right now?
No.
Are you
I've been
on
very-
bad poor terms with her mother?
My baby mother doesn't have our daughter. My baby
Oh.
mother's parents has our daughter, and I've written letters. They live in New York. I haven't gotten a letter back, so I don't know if they've gotten my letters, but I actively try. There's no protective order or anything, and
Right.
I'm allowed to go see them if I wasn't
Okay.
on,
Well, and you understand why grandparents would be protective, right? In order to be a good dad, you have to be able to take care of yourself first.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, keep working on that. Ms.
Thank you.
Epelsaska?
Where is the mother of your daughter?
I couldn't tell you. She left Connecticut to go to New York, as far as I know, a few months ago, but I haven't spoken to her. I don't know what she's doing.
Is she involved in the same activities you are?
I don't believe so. I just have no idea where she is.
You had talked about in terms of risk factors that going back to the New Britain area was something that could potentially be a risk, which,
I do believe it's a trigger.
yeah, so you're going to relocate and start fresh. What are the other elements of your release plan? You talked about finding a meeting, but who's your support system and what does that look like upon release?
As of right now, all I really have for support is my mom, but she's very gung ho about me getting this right this time. And I'm sure I'll meet good people at NA meetings. I want to get a sponsor. That's one of my big priorities, is getting a sponsor. And I'm going to be in a halfway house, so I think the structure is going to be what I need. I'm going to be just going to work and going to NA. That's my plan.
So,
And if I can get some mental health treatment, I'll go and get some mental health treatment.
okay, so, well, that was my next comment, is that the intersection of addiction and mental health is pretty close. So where is your mother physically?
My mother lives in Terryville.
Okay. So is your father still around?
No, last I heard, he lives in Nevada, and I know he's not clean.
Okay. I mean, it's concerning when you hear about an addiction that is actually started due to the role of the father. And that's really unfortunate that it seems to me that might have been the tipping point for you in terms of everything going south.
Yeah, it was. I met my dad when I was 16, and then within a year, he was having me get his drugs for him and getting high with him.
Okay. So you understand, obviously, in the last 7 years, what that's done to your life.
Absolutely.
So in terms of your release plan, treatment is going to be the priority, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
give
you.
us a few minutes to discuss your case, and we're going to give you our decision shortly, okay?
Yes,
Mr. Paul.
ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Kellerstedt was completed in tier 2, as we talked about, was rated excellent, missed the last 2 pieces of the New Thoughts program, however, explained a little bit about what he learned there and seems to understand it. He relapsed and went back out and started using again. He does have a plan to come out, to go to NA, to I'm pretty sure he's going to go check out C-Car at this point, and I would support giving him another opportunity.
Thank you. Most importantly, he's a flat sentence, and he really does need the help of parole.
Yeah.
Ms. Estevez?
I agree.
Okay. All right, so I have a halfway house, mental health evaluation, and general no contact with the underlying victim, initials SP. Anything further? All right, in the matter of Malachi Kellerstedt, MA number 440613. I'll move to grant parole on April 12th, 2025 with the following additional conditions. You'll parole to a halfway house. You'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if they deem it necessary. And you're to have no contact with the underlying victim, initials SP. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sir, we wish you the best. Keep working on yourself.
Thank you so much.
Concludes the hearing. Malachi Kellerstedt, MA number 440613.
You're all set.
All right. Have a great day.
Morning, Mr. Jones.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good. We're going to go ahead and get started with your case.
Okay.
Morning. My name is Officer Shamrock. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing in the Connecticut Board of Pardons. Following board members are present this morning by state their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information preparation in this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Mike Paul.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and MA number for the record.
Travarus Jones, 208-141.
Hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Travarus Jones, MA number 208141. You have served in sentence of 10 years, execution suspended after 42 months, followed by 5 years probation for possession with intent to sell or dispense narcotics, or violation of probation with an underlying offense, possession with intent to sell or dispense not intended, evading responsibility or injury property damage. So today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of April 21st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the final programs. Voice system currently has a window washer job. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score in the SRT falls within a high range of risk for recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Maybe again.
Okay. Well, as of today, before I came to jail, I was all messed up on drugs. So the stuff I was doing, I had no knowledge of. So a lot of stuff I was doing was bad. I was messed up. Today, I done did what I had to do. And I heard a lot of people when I was home too. I heard a lot of my kids. I lost my wife, I lost my daughter for fentanyl. So I've been affected in a lot of ways. But as of today, when I came to jail on 150 milligrams of methadone. Today I'm only on 10. I should be getting off there any day. So I'm just my days is different now. I'm 50 years old. I ain't got no more time to waste, no time to lose. I'm just trying to do what I got to do.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jones. We're going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yes.
So I did see that you're in the MAP program, but you did the MAP program during your last incarceration, and then you went out and used again. What happened?
No, I wasn't on my last incarceration.
Or maybe the one before. You've been on it before, and you've gone on to commit further crimes. Maybe I got the wrong incarceration, but you've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what caused you to relapse, sir?
Oh, I lost my daughter, like I said. When I lost my kids, stuff had changed for me. I had gotten on Xanax and stuff that I was just doing stuff I had no business doing. And it threw me for a loop. Then I lost my wife. So that's why I relapsed.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for your loss. So how could you handle situations, because bad things happen, right, in life, unfortunately. How will you handle situations differently in the future?
Right now, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even do it because I'm planning on getting off the methadone, and I know not to drive a car without license. That was a lot of my wrongdoing too, driving without a license.
Yeah, why haven't you had a license?
I lost my license years ago, in like 2001, and I never got them back.
I understand why. But my question is, why didn't you try to go to motor vehicle and get your license back?
The drugs. I just was
on drugs.
Yeah. just doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah. Well, I guess what else I don't understand is, you've really struggled with this heroin addiction, right?
Oh, yes.
So why would you spread that and cause the same harm to other people?
I didn't mean to do that. I take full responsibility of that. The drugs is powerful. It's a powerful thing, and it messed me up in every way, and it messed my family up too. I did a lot of harm to my family too, behind drugs.
I'm a little concerned that you have failed at every opportunity that you've had on community release, and I wonder if it's because you just weren't ready to go out there, to go back out and to really follow a plan and be successful. I personally would like to see you do a little more programming. Are you on the list for any of the tier programs?
No, I never had a community release. I never had
community release is like probation, parole.
I thought it was parole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You've had community releases. Supervision in the community is what it means.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tier program. Are you on the wait list?
No.
Let's see if you're on the wait list.
No,
You should be. With the drug score as high as yours and your history, you really should be. Let's see. How about meetings? Do you go to meetings?
Oh yeah, I go to meetings.
When do you go to meetings?
I go to meetings once a month for the MAC program. Then I get my voices.
I'm talking about NA meetings.
Oh no.
Why not?
I just never went because the situation that I'm in, I think I can just handle that on my own. That's like I said. I was on 150 milligrams of methadone, and I'm only on 10 now. So
Well, yeah, we're not gonna talk about your medications here, but yeah, you do have addiction services on your OAP. I think you need to build up as many tools as you can. Has CCAR been in the facility? Have you talked to them?
No.
No. All right, I'm gonna pass it to my colleagues and see if they have questions. Ms. Zapplestasu?
Well, I would like to see Mr. Jones do some more programming, and as much as I think addiction services is high on my list, I think there's also voices. I mean, at
Yeah.
one point, there was 1,300 bundles seized from Waterbury U-Haul facility, 9 guns. He was dealing, per the report, 5 to 10 bricks a day, which, as you mentioned, you know, the poisoning of the community is something that's as important as Mr. Jones's future healing and beating his addiction. So I would be in favor of additional programming, and I don't have any other questions.
Okay, and I think he did voices, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Mr. Paul?
So, thank you, Madam
Thank
Chair. So, Mr. Jones, here's the deal. And I'm sorry about your losses.
Yeah.
But when you go become part of a recovery community, when things really go bad, which they did for you, right? You don't go to the drugs, you go to people that can supply empathy and understanding. Right? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So being engaged with a recovery community is a good thing. And the way to get that going, you have CCAR in the facility. You know, they do really good stuff. They connect you on the outside with support that you might need, right? And that would be a really good thing for you. And I know the guys that come in there on Monday night for AA meetings, you know, the people on the outside that come in, they're really good people. So, you know, you should give that a shot and let people be there to support you. Right? You can stop doing this. Right? You don't want to, right? I'm with both of you on bringing it back.
All right, do you want to do the end of the year, December? He'll still have a year if he's granted at that time.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, let's see, there's a bunch of works you could do, so. All right, reasons for denial, inadequate program participation?
Yeah.
Any other reasons?
We done?
No, hang on. Do we want to do, inadequate evidence of offender change or not? I think they're linked, but yeah. Okay. All right. In the matter of Travarus Jones, I'm at number 208141. I'll move to deny parole at this time due to inadequate program participation and inadequate evidence of offender change. But we'll rehear the case in December of 2025 with the recommendations that you do an addiction services program, any other positive programs, and no disciplinary reports. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You understand we're going to bring you back in December, okay, sir?
Yeah.
Well,
But you know what?
This concludes the hearing for the Travarus Jones, unit number 208.
I'm gonna handle it on my own.
Hello.
Morning, Mr. Douangta.
Good morning, sir.
We're gonna go ahead and get started with your case.
Excuse me?
We're gonna go ahead and get started with your case.
Okay.
Morning, my name is Ross Shamrock. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Giacomini.
Good morning, Michael.
And I'm
Good
Ellen
morning.
Zaposasu.
Good
Sir,
morning.
please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Bounmy Douangta. Inmate number is 355-914.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of full application for inmate number 355-914. He's serving a sentence of 8 years, execution suspended after 3.5 years, followed by 3 years probation for 2 counts possession with intent to sell or dispense narcotics. As of today, record reflect the parole dated March 25th, 2025. There is no victim included in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs. Tier 2 and currently has a janitor job. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score in the SRT falls within the high range risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Because I took a lot of time out and changed as far as not just going to the programs. I actually worked on myself day by day. Like I had to look myself in the mirror, not worry about what I want, stuff like that. Or, you know, I had to really, really work on myself as far as what I need to do to be a better human, a better son to my mother, a better human in society, you know, and I had to break myself down. I hit rock bottom as far as just not being happy with the person I've become, and then actually working on myself, trying to build myself back up. And you know, I'm more mature now as far as everything I'm dealing with right now is like it's affecting me more. Like when I talk to my parents, and I'm sorry, I'm just a little nervous, but when I speak to my parents and they tell me that they're struggling at home as far as they both dealing with health problems. So, you know, when they tell me that they're carrying 3 bottles of water in the house at a time because they don't have the strength to do it. You know, they can't buy big bottles of water, stuff like that. It hurts me, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's things like that that's making me like really take a look at what I've done, you know, and I don't know, it's just I don't know if I mentioned it correctly, but you know, just things like that. But I really worked on myself this time, because sometimes people come in here and they just want to figure out the quickest way to get home. And that wasn't about that. I didn't care about the quickest way to get home. I really wanted to work on myself, you know, and just be better. Like I didn't want to just go to a program and then just throw the book under my thing. Like I did do the programs, but actually, like I said, I had to do self-inventory for myself. And it wasn't easy because you know, the person that you look in the mirror, sometimes you're not happy with who you become. And I had to live with that, you know, so it's like, and I'm still living with that, but I know that I don't want to be that same person again. You know, so
Thank you, sir. Can you say your name for us one more time, please?
my what?
Your name?
Bounmy Douangta.
Bounmy Douangta.
Yes, ma'am.
Close? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your statement, sir. We're going to ask you some questions, then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. We'll
Okay.
begin with my colleague, Ms. Zaposasu.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I appreciate your comments about, you know, looking yourself in the mirror and taking accountability, and your concern for your parents, who frankly, you know, at their age should not be worried about their 41-year-old son and what he's doing, because I'm sure that's not what their plan was.
Yes.
But let's go back to the beginning, Mr. Douangta, because one of the things that concerns me is that back almost 10 years ago or so, when you were arrested in New York, you made a comment that said something along the lines of, I'm done with this life and it's not worth the cost of freedom. But here we are, your third incarceration with a drug score of 4. I mean, I get the rock bottom analogy, but tell me what is different today than it was all these previous times and your previous programs? What clicked for you right now that you know that this has to change?
I'm just more mature now. And I think before I was just doing stuff just to try to get home as quick as I could. And this time around, if you would have asked me a year ago, I'll tell you, I wasn't ready to go home a year ago. I know I'm ready now. You know, cause like I said, I had to look at everything. I really had to look at myself in the mirror. And you know, when it comes to like with my parents, I get a little emotional just because I'm supposed to be helping them out. You know, like the life cycle is supposed to be, they raise us, they take care of us, but then I'm supposed to be doing that, you know, excuse me, I'm supposed to be doing that in return. So me not being able to do it, you know, that's a high price.
So what started you with the drugs? We see that you dabbled with ecstasy and then you were doing Percocets. What happened? What started you on that drug journey?
Well, the thing with the Percocet was I don't drink alcohol and stuff like that. And then I was like, I was trying to, I just didn't know the effects of like the you know, the pill thing. You know, like pills is like kind of new to me. I didn't know like there's a drug that if you don't take, you know, you ate for it. And it was like, I just didn't know anything about withdrawal. You know, I grew up smoking marijuana and stuff like that, but I never had a drug like where if you don't have it, you know, your body hurts. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into, to be honest with you. It just, you know, that was just a bad decision. I just didn't really know what it really does to you, but I mean, I know now, you know, obviously.
So what did you learn in tier 2 about this?
Well, tier 2, I learned about like the dopamine levels, you know, all the scientific stuff, but I also learned like sometimes they say it's a good thing to like find one habit for another habit and stuff, like a good habit, you know, like, you know, certain hobbies and stuff like that. I learned stuff like that, but like I said, I learned about the dopamine levels or why our body needs it. And I just know that I can't do that again. That's just something that was out of my league.
So how are you going to handle your eventual release and prepare for dealing with this out in the community? Do you have a relapse prevention plan? Do you know about meetings? What does that look like on the outside?
Oh yes, I mean I'm definitely open to meetings. I usually do. I'm pretty sure I'll be going to an outpatient program, and plus employment, you know. But I'm definitely willing to do outpatient programs. I'll do the meetings, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to like the Travarus Center when I go home, and they usually link you up with meetings, outpatient programs, and you know whatever I would need to move forward. But I'm definitely willing to do whatever it takes.
So it needs to be your priority, obviously, when you get out in the community before, you know, even getting a job. I see
Yes.
that you had a good job before in Brookfield. Is that something you can go back to?
Oh yeah, that's they're still willing to take me back, and I also I could go to EB Electronics too. That's another place that would take me back because I have a good skill with selective soldering, wave room operations, and I mean I'm actually really good at it. And actually enjoy that work. So I'm definitely looking forward to going to do that. And I can always get that job back as long as I'm willing to take it.
So I'm concerned about the fact that you need to have programs set up because, you know, previously one of the concerning things that I read was you were under surveillance by the Danbury Police Department. They searched you following one of your court dates and found you in possession. I mean, I guess that goes back to what you were saying about you not being ready. But we need to be sure that if we were to vote upon your release today, that you're going to make better decisions than what you've made in the past.
Oh, yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, before I even turned myself into to this sentence, I did get sober. So I ended up putting myself on the methadone program to at least, just to stop doing drugs. And I started changing before I even came into jail. I started working on myself. I wasn't going out anymore. I was kind of like, I don't want to say it was the depression stage, but I was mentally preparing myself to come do this time. And obviously, just, it wasn't like I was like trying to party or anything before I go in. I was kind of like literally just preparing myself just to come do this time. It was like a good part of my life, and it just sucks because it took for me to learn. But like I said, I'm not upset because it took for that for me to be a way better person than I am today than what I was before. So it's a gift and a curse.
So my last question is, what are some of the risks that you see that you might find when you get back into the community?
The only risk I would see is if I was to go back and like hang out with people, but I really don't. Like I said, I'm 41 years old now. Like that's not even fun to me anymore. I don't know. It's like that's how I know I changed a lot, because certain things don't intrigue me anymore. Like I don't find fun in going to a club or I don't drink, so I don't go to bars anyway. So it's just like certain things that doesn't excite me anymore. And that comes with maturity. So other than that, as long as people, places, and things, but other than that, I feel I'm good. Feel confident that I can stay with that could do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You did get a very good review from your program. So hopefully what you learned there will be a good foundation for you moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Sir, I did note that you're in the MAP program. Is that something new for you?
Yes.
You've
Yeah.
never done that before. Is it something you plan to continue in the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that also comes with programs. You got to do programs.
Yeah.
It's certain guidelines that I'm okay with, with following, because it kind of helps me in the long run. It's like an invisible leash that keeps me grounded. I need to have guidance, so I need to have something to guide me through, through the everydays and keep me in line. And I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to cheat the system or anything. If it's gonna help me become a better person, I want it.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're being proactive about your sobriety, so that's a good thing. We couldn't reach your mom. We were unable to reach your mom, so I don't know. We'll see what we can do about that. But give us a minute to discuss your case, and we'll come back to you with our decision shortly.
Okay. Do I just stay here?
You can listen. Yeah, stay here.
Okay.
So in terms of Mr. Douangta, I'm hoping that the third time is a charm for him. He is showing some mature insights in relation to his history. It does appear that he's taking his sobriety seriously and gained insight from Tier 2, from which he got a good review. He's also worked diligently within the facility. He has a release plan and has started to outline some of the programs in addition to the MAP program that are available to him in terms of his release plan. So I would be willing to give him a chance to see if he can be successful this time in the community. Thank you, Mr. Pope.
Just that halfway house.
Halfway house, yeah.
That's all I have to.
Okay. In the matter of Bounmy Douangta, I'm sorry if I messed up your name. Inmate number 355-914. Perfect. 355-914, I'll move to grant parole effective today, March 26, 2025, with the additional condition of a halfway house placement if it's needed. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so someone will be in touch with you shortly, and if we can reach your mom, then certainly you can go there. If not, we'll send you to a halfway house, okay?
Yeah, I'll just have to, I'll call my mom and someone's gonna like call her, do you know what day or around what day or?
Someone called already, but they'll try again, so.
It'll be
Okay,
parole
so-
community
Yeah.
services that calls her. So you just have to wait. Your stuff needs to go to parole and community services. And then somebody from that agency will reach out to her when they're ready.
Okay, so as long as everything works out with her as a spot, so I can
Yeah.
go home?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so
Good luck,
much.
sir. Keep working on yourself, okay?
Thank you so much.
This concludes the hearing for OMPD, amendment number 355. And morning, Mr. Rodriguez-Burgos.
Good morning.
Gonna go ahead and get started with your case. Good
Okay.
morning. My name is Paroles. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing at the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning by state their names on the record. Certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Poole.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Sir,
Good morning.
please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Angel Rodriguez-Burgos, 442-907.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of parole application for Angel Rodriguez-Burgos, inmate number 442-907. He is serving a sentence of 5 years for carrying a pistol without a permit. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of May 28, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed and shows the offender is completed the following programs. Tier 2, voices, good intentions, bad choices. It currently has a community detail job. Utilizes the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offenders overall scoring SRT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. May begin.
Why do I believe I should be granted parole? That's the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, during this time, I found my reasoning why I want to do good for myself and stuff like this. Throughout this 2 years of my life, I realized I did really messed up in a bad way where now I'm holding that accountability over my head, knowing that I'm looking at this man in the mirror and telling myself like every single day, like, you did this to yourself, you placed yourself here. So, and with all that being said, it's just like, I got to move on forward where I got to make these big changes. How I'm going to make these big changes is just through my actions instead of speaking it. So living this is just, it's been a result of my self-change, having to go out there, be around the people, the community of Suffield, and be around their job spaces, like seeing these firefighters, seeing these police officers. It was more motivation for myself because I just don't want to go backwards into doing any of this and want to do more time in here where it's going to hinder my life and hinder my family from having me out there being able to help my grandmother in need or my wife, my recent wife that has been supporting me with all these programs that's been going on with, we have a reentry program that I have been facilitating. So I come out with information just so I can help them re-enter society so they can figure out their plans on how they're gonna better their self. So with that being the push for them, it motivates me myself where now through my wife, I'm able to seek out these informations through her and the counselor, and I'm able to justify myself in way and place myself in a way that now I could get these resources and utilize it from my dean and be able to continue on with my process and through this life like this. Throughout all this, you know, it's just like, I do apologize, you know, I do apologize to the community. I do apologize to everyone that it hit home for, and it has affected them. And I just don't want to be this type of person no more. I don't want to feel like that's what I'm living off. So I've completed tier 2. I've did stuff that realized prevention, just because I know I was stuck in a predicament where I knew my alcoholism was such a problem. So I know I had to target the main things that had to do with the way I was living out there. I was involved with drugs. I was drinking all the time. It became so bad within the last 2 years that it clouded my judgment and my decision making. And so far, I was able to gather around, be able to talk to people within inside the dorm, focus on a reentry plan for within myself, what involves my wife, and what to target in life and stuff like that, which I know temporarily I might have to share a vehicle until I find a good paying job. And until then, purchase a vehicle, get my OSHA's 10 CDL license, seek out to be a firefighter. I was actually trying to come in here with my certificate of completing GED, because I went for my test yesterday and I just failed about one question. And now I'm just seeking every little thing that's just going to better these aspects of myself, that way none of my family have to worry about me ever coming back here. So upon my release, if I do get granted release or if I don't, it's still a possibility, and I'm going to make it a possibility where I graduate and probably go for college, because I was still debating on whether I want to do, if I want to put business into that category. I'm looking for self-development books, which my wife been providing me also, because as far as when I'm out there, now I got bad credit, now I just need to build myself up in all my areas where I'm short at. I'm continue working on my physical health, because that's been a big priority. It's helped me throughout my whole process of being here, and it gave me more of clarity, in which now I really want to continue on and reach out for more, because I knew mentally that's where I had to develop. My wife, we've been speaking about church a lot, and that's a big part of my recovery, because I knew I had to I'm gonna either go to NA upon my release. Thanks to a brother that is incarcerated too. He also gave me a plan where I can also reach out to a sponsor. And so I looked at it and I was just like, wow, anything that could back me up, which will help support my new self. Utilizing the groups that are offered, through this church, and being able to speak my story to them, is the biggest thing for me. So yeah,
Okay. I'm sorry. Are you done with your statement, sir? We have questions for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're going to ask questions. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What was your role in going into this home?
When I was when I was drunk on my mind, I received a phone call, and it just so happened to be that was my sibling. So just for checking on her safety, I took it upon myself, which I don't agree with. I was completely wrong for it. I should have called, knowing that if I was really that concerned for her safety, why would I put myself in that type of predicament to be in danger of it? So that's where I put myself at, knowing that it was my sibling. Because I thought I had to go as far as myself to go check up on her.
So your sibling was the girl that got, the woman that got shot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you know these other guys, the ones that were doing it?
There was 3 of my cousins and some guy that she was with. And throughout the recent conversations with her, it's just I realized she'd been going through a fallout where she'll always be getting beat up. And it just took that day that, you know, she caught me when I was drunk, that my decision making went out the window, and I went there presently to check up on her.
Drunk and with a gun?
Yeah.
Ever had a blackout?
Yes, sir.
You know, I stood next to somebody in prison and I asked why you were here and he said murder. And then I said, what happened? He said, well, they told me that because he has no idea what he did, but he knows it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's what happens when you put guns and booze together.
Yes, sir. Totally agree.
So, you know, you don't have criminal history, but at the same time, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've engaged in tier 2, smart recovery, relapse prevention. You said, you know, those are important things. You just talked about coming out in NA and a sponsor.
Yes, sir.
You want to go to Chicopee, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you investigated any recovery related support in that area?
Yes, sir. Just like I was telling you, like with being able to talk to my wife and stuff like that, we had came up with a plan, you know, like as far as like now I went to church here and it got me more reconnected with that side where I left behind years ago. So I found out that that would be my biggest support, you know, being able to be in that system where I'm around people that is just trying to push for the betterment of themselves and stuff like that. And plus, including the extra help that is with it, the NA and AA, which my wife also found phone numbers to also help me through that process.
Is that those meetings and that sponsor are going to be critical? Going to be important, really, really important.
Yes, sir.
We have, you know, we received the reviews for your services as a chairman. There were I saw 4 excellent work evaluations. And I appreciate that you're going to AA several times to the facility.
Yes.
And you being in E-dorm is big because the mindset is moving forward, right?
Yes, sir. It's been the biggest change because they also have an AA there and an NA, you know, that I've also been a part of and love being around people that share their stories in ways that now I'm able to learn from them and take it upon myself where I'm not going to be that man where I'm going to fall short in those areas, you know? So it's about giving it my all at this point. And
good. All right. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. So Mr. Rodriguez-Burgos, you've taken all the programs, you're doing all the work. But this is scary. This offense was very scary to read. I mean, I understand you wanting to protect your sister, but why did you even have a gun?
at the time when I grew up, there's been so many cases where self-defense been a big major case in my town, where Springfield, all you see is shootouts here and there, and it's just like it became so fundamental to me that it's just like now I have to protect myself. I almost got killed twice being in Springfield, and which is why I knew that immediately I had to change that environment if I want to be better and as a whole, you know, because as far as these spending 2 years of my life in here, I really had enough time to think about where I'm not gonna go back to. And definitely not holding that gun anymore, and definitely not being put in a predicament where I'm trying to defend somebody and thinking that had good intentions, but I made some severe bad choices.
I mean, what were you gonna do when you went there? Kill him?
Nah, that was not even
And then
my thought.
spend the rest of your life in prison? I mean, well, what do you think's gonna happen when you show up there with a gun and you have a shootout?
Yeah. And obviously I could have lost my life. I could have spent most of my time in prison, and you're completely right about it in a sense where now I see that, and now I'm trying to do whatever I can to not be put in that predicament.
So did the victim have a gun too and start shooting back?
I really don't know, because at the moment when that all happened, it's just like there's 6 of us. So it's just like as soon as I walked in it, it's like I don't know if it was the liquor, I just completely blacked out.
Wow.
And in a sense, all this started occurring, and then it's like for a quick second, it's just like I bolted out, and I knew that my cousin was injured, so I drove him to the hospital. So it's more like I wasn't even aware if I had even a gun on myself, like if I even carried it. I knew I definitely had it in my vehicle.
Yeah. All right. And you know, you're trying to protect your sister. You really could have killed her, had her killed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, are they still together?
At this moment, I'm not sure. I think she when I recently spoke to her, she said that she took steps on separating herself and finding something better.
So you've repaired your relationship is okay? The two of you?
Yes. My relationship is fine with her, because you know, regardless
Okay,
of
but
my
let's say they reconcile, they get back together. What's it gonna be like between you and him?
That's her business. I'm thinking about completely starting my life with my wife, and I know I have no parts in whatever she does with her time and who she wants to give herself to.
Yeah.
Because she could be caught up in a whole predicament like that, and I'm not going to be there to involve myself. And if I do find myself where she is reaching out to me saying that her life is in danger, I'll probably put it to the authorities now.
Please,
you
could even call anonymously if you wanted to,
Yeah, because I ain't
go
going
over there and
backwards.
check it out.
Yeah,
Did you get married during this incarceration?
Yes, man.
Okay, all right. Oh, congratulations. How long have you been together?
We've been married since September of 24.
No. How long were you together prior to that?
Oh, actually, me and her was close friends. So we've been living together for a while, like 5 years or 4 years. And then when I got to jail, I realized that she's been the one to actually try to push me for the better myself.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, she's been putting in the work as far as helping me out to run these programs and do whatever I needed to better myself. So it's just like, I consider that a blessing. Like
it is, yeah. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. When I was reading it, I'm wondering, how is he providing care to an elderly person when he's using every day? You can't be in your best shape doing that, you know?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for speaking with me, Ms. Zaposesu.
We received your letter that you submitted to us. It's very well written. Did anybody help you with this?
Yes, ma'am. It's because I didn't really know how to put my words together, so I just wanted the help to place it all in a manner where I could deliver it to y'all and actually be meaningful. Not just something that, he didn't really take his time to really even think about doing.
I appreciate that you've been ticket free and that you've gained all of these positive work reports, and obviously outside clearance is is a big privilege. It sounds like your wife is going to be a major focus in terms of your community support. But I have to say that after reading some of the history, I am concerned about the cousins and, you know, some of the family pieces that, you know, at one point you noted that, you know, they drink a lot, I think. How are you going to manage, you know, family relationships with your recovery?
I'm actually at a point where if I know I'm gonna go back to church, I know I have to like disconnect from some of these relationships that I once had, because it's not gonna benefit me in one way if it's just gonna bring me backwards. And if they love me so much as they do, they will not try to put a drink in front of me or drugs in front of me. And I don't consider that love no more, as far as knowing what it took for me to get here and what I went through. That the only real love I really genuinely received was that one person that is daily day basis, making sure she received my phone calls. I owe her the world, and you know, making it right to her and making it right to my older sister that's been pushing me to go for education and further my life. I owe it to her. I owe it to my grandmother. They're the reason why I'm motivated every single day to better myself. And that's why I appreciate being a part of these programs, because not only with Smart Recovery, diligence training, the people that run it, and model mindsets, these group-based help you solidify what is actually where you're trying to get to in your mind, where deep down is the root where you're messing up at. And help me get these resources in order to swipe that clean. You know, my past is always going to remain there, but it's what I do further on.
Yeah, and you're young enough that you can make those changes, and I wish you luck in doing so. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case, sir, and we'll come back to you shortly with our decision. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Mr. Rodriguez-Burgos has done a lot of work. He's in the change unit in E-dorm. He's put a lot of effort into recovery and recovery-based things such as tier 2 relapse prevention and smart recovery. He has a plan for when he gets out. He has positive pro-social support in the community that is there to help him move forward. And I will support his parole.
I agree. I do too. Okay. All right, so we have a victim without PO's permission, another victim, co-defendants, alcohol, interstate, and halfway house. Anything else?
That's it.
And one of the co-defendants is a family member. Which co-defendant was that? I think Gomez. Is Gomez your cousin?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? No? All right. In the matter of Angel Rodriguez-Burgos, amendment number 442907, I'll make a motion to grant parole on or after May 28th, 2025, with the following additional conditions. You're to have no contact with your victim initials EV without your parole officer's permission, no contact with victim initials SJ, no contact with co-defendant Eric Gomez without your parole officer's permission, and no contact with co-defendants Jose Torres or Andre De Jesus. No alcohol consumption while you're on parole. You'll parole to interstate, you want to go to Massachusetts, and a halfway house placement if it's necessary.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you'll get all that in writing, but do you have any questions, sir?
No, I appreciate you so much.
All right, we wish you the best. Keep working. You're doing
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Rodriguez-Burgos. Angel.
Yes.
42907. Good. You're all set, Mr. Burgos. Mr. Eagles?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're over there.
Excuse me?
We'll be right with you.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Eagles, we're gonna go ahead and get started with your case.
Yes, sir.
Morning, my name is Professor Shamrock. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members' present this morning, I state their names on the record, certified I have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information preparation for this.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Mike Cole.
And I'm Ellen Zapo Sasso.
How you
Sure,
doing?
please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Isaac Eagles, number 192934.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of parole application for Isaac Eagles, number 192934, serving a sentence of 10 years, followed by 5-year special parole for robbery first, assault on personnel, and larceny second. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of February 25th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed, shows the offender has completed bond programs. Voices currently has a work furlough job, utilized the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offender's overall score on the R team falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. May begin.
Okay. Can I read this letter, please?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. You can bear with me. Your screen is going in and out, so I'm gonna have to work with you.
Can you
am I
hear us?
on? Yeah, I can hear you. Am I in and out?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Thanks.
you. So, dear members of parole, of the parole board, I'm here today with a profound sense of remorse and accountability. I fully recognize the pain my actions have caused to the victims. I offer my deepest apology. I fell on hard times and attempting to slow down the financial bleeding, I made matters worse. Bad decisions coupled with behavior consisting of instant gratification brought forth a cocktail mixed with disaster. I was wrong, and I take full responsibility. Keenan on the character defects, I had to face off with lies and the truth. The lie being any justification for doing wrong, and the truth is being honest and genuine about needing help and being open-minded and ready for change instead of carrying on in the dark. The light is my wife, who is a significant source of strength and support during this time. She has stood by my side and has been the embodiment of love and support. I have been in the Second Chance program for 2 years and completed programs such as RAGE, an acronym for rethinking aggressive behavior and gaining control of emotions. This program is an anger management, impulse control, and conflict resolution workshop. Also, Knowing Your Triggers, a program I co-created. On my OAP, Voices was another program that's key and helped me understand the impact of my actions, develop healthier coping mechanisms, and adopt a mindset focused on positive change and understand the impact on victims. I have also earned certifications as a certified nursing assistant and a certified recovery coach through the Connecticut Community for Addiction Services, known as CCAR. My aim is to transform my past mistakes into a source of motivation to help others avoid the path I once took. In addition, I regularly attend Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous meetings multiple times a week, which have been crucial in my journey toward maintaining sobriety. The support from these groups, along with family support, have been invaluable. I am proud to report that I have maintained steady employment. I have a full-time job working out in the community Monday through Friday, a total of 40 hours a week for CT Composites in Windsor, Connecticut. I have a bank account with direct deposit as well. I'll be able to renew my driver's license as well once I'm released. Looking forward, my primary goal is to reintegrate into society, law-abiding and productive citizen. In conclusion, I respectfully ask for your consideration for parole and understand the decision to grant parole is significant and require careful consideration, such as the recent decision by the honorable judge who granted me a 3-year sentence modification that's given me the opportunity to be in front of you today. Thank you.
Thank you for your statement. We're going to ask you some questions, okay? Then we'll deliberate and give you our decision. So I did see that just last month, you got a sentence modification, 3 years taken off.
Yes,
Actually, it's the second time you got a sentence modification, so you've been pretty successful at that.
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does appear that you do well when you're incarcerated, right? With the structure and away from any negative environments or influences. The problem is when you're released from prison, I just don't understand how someone with your history can keep making these mistakes. And I guess I need to know what has prevented you from completely turning your life around.
Well, I believe that my way of thinking was different. And, you know, I have good intentions and then things come about and then I just handle things the wrong way. And this time around, I had to really sink my teeth in the situation. What's been wrong? This has been a hard hit for me. It's been difficult for me, as you said, have been successful at being out and then get into a situation and fall into this again. So it's been difficult and I really had to deal with that differently this time. There's been a lot of changes on this one and I've gone through more than I ever had before. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm a cancer survivor. Just 2 years ago, I didn't think that I would survive it. I lost a kidney in the midst of that. And so it's been a whole life-changing situation that I had to go through and pick myself up from. And I've continued to climb and get better and just do good. And so there's a difference from that point and where I'm at today.
Okay. It was concerning to me in your parole interview when asked why you committed the offense, your answer was you were being irresponsible.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think that quite covers it. Being irresponsible. I mean, you were being violent. You were committing crimes. Irresponsible. I don't know. I think that's pretty poor description of what you were doing. But I would like an explanation. What kind of financial problems were you having?
Well, I had totally gone broke and, you know, I needed housing and.
Well, what does that mean though? You've totally gone broke.
Well,
You had money and you lost it?
Yeah, I lost my job. I had nothing. I had no savings. I had nothing in the bank account. And that right there alone caused bad decision. And what I was saying as far as just irresponsible, it was just a word to use where, you know, you're doing something you weren't supposed to be doing and just making decisions like that. So I didn't mean no harm by the word, but I thought that.
Okay. I mean, robbing a bank is not really a common way to solve financial problems.
That's true.
I don't understand it. I can't imagine it, especially given the history. You should definitely have known better and learned that violence is not the answer. What job were you working that you lost?
Well, I was working on commercial cleaning.
Okay, how long were you doing that?
I was doing that for about 6 months.
Oh, well, 6 months is not a long time. What were you doing before that?
Before that, I had worked, you know what I'm saying? I was helping the mayor in his campaign, Mayor Ganem. I had
All
a
right,
short.
so let me ask you a question. Why is it that you hadn't found a steady job to work for years?
I would say I was incarcerated for one, and then when I came out, I was out there for about a year. So I guess that I've had to just get into where the problem started, and it relies in me. It started in me and what I needed to do to change what I was doing. So I had to just get into that.
Yeah, you weren't out very long.
Yeah.
Wow. You were out, 10 months it looks like.
Yes.
You didn't have any plan going out, what you were gonna do for work?
Yeah, I had a plan and it fell at that point. I had moved out of state and I was certified, as a nursing assistant up here, and I was gonna jump in and start working that there, but the license wasn't good in North Carolina, so I went out and I started working commercial cleaning, and then everything went from there.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So you did 15 years and you go out and you last 10 months.
Yes.
Is that about right?
Yes.
That's sad.
Very sad. Very sad.
Were you using in those 10 months?
Yes.
How long did it take before after you were released from prison to start using again?
I would say about 4 months.
And you were using heroin?
Yes.
4 months. Were you actively engaged in your relapse prevention plan?
I
Going
absolutely
to meetings? Did you have a sponsor? Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. I absolutely was not, and that's the difference. I didn't do NAAA. I didn't have a sponsor, and there was nothing coupled with me having help with that, finding help with that. So I didn't put the work in with that, and that was one of my weak points.
Okay, so who are you talking to now? Tell us what kind of work you're doing now.
Well, I'm working and just dealing with just the core root of just my addiction and what causes me to fall into
How are
that.
you doing that? I want to know specifically what steps you're taking with what programs, what people.
Well, I'm opening up more. I was in a shell before. I didn't really speak much about what I was
Opening
going
up
through.
to who?
To the group, to staff, to those.
What group are you in right now?
What program am I in right now?
Yeah.
Well, on the weekends, I go to NAA, and those are the core programs that I'm focusing on right now. And
Okay, who's your sponsor?
I don't have a sponsor now, but I'm gonna have a sponsor going out.
Who's your
And
recovery coach?
my recovery coach, I don't have one, but I sent you a letter by Evan Hunter, and he's the addiction service counselor out there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be working real close with him and formulating my plan and getting together and just getting a sponsor and just working straight on addiction, as well as being a recovery coach and just working to help people and help myself in return.
I'm very concerned. I am. And I'll tell you why. Your last incarceration, you did all you did all these programs and you lasted 10 months. So none of them meant anything. And you really did not utilize anything that you were taught. And when you go out, people are in danger. I mean, do you think about the victims that you've created in the community?
Yes, all the time. And I'm very sorry for that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to pass it on to my colleagues to see what they have to say or ask. Ms. Apostasu?
In terms of the Second Chance program, what has been the big message that you've taken away from participating in that?
The biggest message is just the fact of just being totally in a therapeutic community and just 24/7 having access to groups and recovery and working on self, being able to be in there with people that's like-mindedness and just working and working and working nonstop. So my choice to be in the program was to be surrounded around that and to be around that type of company and energy.
So upon your eventual release, Mr. Eagles, are you going back to Bridgeport again? Because it seems to me that might be part of the problem.
Yes, I am going back to Bridgeport. And
how do you, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So do you think that it's reasonable to think that you're going to be commuting back to South Windsor from Bridgeport? That's an awful long drive.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at my job more skilled trade, and then, once I'm out, me and my boss already had a meeting about it and being able to get a substantial amount of a raise to be able to go back and forth. and I'm committed to that and working towards that. And right now, I have a out-of-state license where I have to be out there in person to go to DMV to switch it over to Connecticut State. And I have money already put to the side for a vehicle to get to work. But even before I get the vehicle, me and my wife already worked out a plan where we're gonna rearrange the schedule to get me back and forth to work. So I'm looking forward to that. And just being there in that community, which I've taken in, and I've been working out there for a minute, for a while. And I have the ability to do so, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Thank you for talking to me. Thank you. Mr. Polk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Eagles, I'm just having a hard time with putting together the whole thing. However, I do want you to know that I appreciate the work that you've done in EDORM. You know, and the difference here is really less than 6 months.
Less than 3 months.
Hmm?
It's less than 3 months. He's done in June.
Is 100% is in June?
June, I have June. June 17th. June 17th. Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay.
It's about 2.5 months. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just based on, you know, based on what happened last time and what happened here, you know? But don't take it like we're not saying that everything that you've done is for good. Okay?
All right.
I don't have any.
Give us a few minutes to talk about your case, sir. We're going to come back to you shortly with our decision.
Okay.
All right. So, you know, as you just said, Mr. Pohl, he's done a lot of work. Mr. Eagles has done a lot of programming. He's been working. He's got excellent evaluations, no disciplinary reports. It's good stuff. Where I struggle is I'm not sure he has a good supportive plan in place for when he gets back out to the community. And we saw the last time he went out, he lasted 4 months before he relapsed and committed another violent offense, robbery first. So I think you should use the next less than 3 months, 2.5 months to really work on a solid plan. It's good that he's working, he's on work furlough and participating in groups, but given his history and poor performance on community release, I would not be comfortable supporting parole at this time, but I think he's on a good path and he's got 5 years of special parole where he'll get the support, additional support that he needs from parole. Ms. Applesex?
I agree, and I do hope that he uses all the resources that he's gleaned within and the special parole period to break the cycle.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
All right. We need to set special parole conditions. I have a mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary because court ordered it. Anger management because of the assault on public safety, and I don't see that he took it. And I'm sorry?
Victim DC.
I really didn't have, I don't think I have the victims. I mean, we could do a general with the bank if we want to, but it's been so long. No. Okay. Anything else? Anything further? All right. So nature and circumstance, criminal history, and while on probation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have. All right. In the matter of Isaac Eagles, I mean, number 192934, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons: the nature and circumstance of the offenses, criminal history, and offenses committed while on probation. I'll further move to set the following special parole conditions: mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, and an anger management program in the community. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Sure, you'll get this in writing and you'll start your special parole soon. We wish you the best. Work with your parole officer, okay?
Okay.
This concludes the hearing for Isaac Eagles, committee number 192934.
It's the last.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
You good to go, Mr.?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Mr. Rivera, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Morning, my name is Paroles Chairman. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Court of Bargain. My board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer
Good
Zaccanini.
morning, Mike Poole.
Ellen Zaffo Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Javier Rivera, inmate number 194593.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Javier Rivera, inmate number 194593, is serving a sentence of 5 years for 2 counts of possession with the intent to sell licensed narcotics. As today record reflective of the ability date of March 26, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is defendant not really fine for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed applying programs. Tier 2, voice is currently as kitchen down. Utilizing statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score in the SRT falls within the very high range of risk for service. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be doing parole. You may begin.
Your turn, sir. Why do you think you deserve parole?
Well, when I was from November 11, 22, when I was remanded back into custody, I have utilized these 2 years to better myself and build a foundation. I worked numerous programs as far as CCART to become a professional recovery coach. I learned how to use people as resources, even as far as special parole. I would like to go back to work and be a part of my family. I mean, I come first. My addiction comes first. My recovery comes first. So when I go home, if I go home, then I will take care of my recovery first.
Okay, Mr. Rivera, we're going to ask you some questions about that, okay? And then
Yes.
we'll deliberate and give you our decision. You've done this before. We'll begin with my
Yes.
colleague, Ms. Zappos-Sasso.
Hello, Mr. Rivera.
How you doing?
We did get a copy of your reentry plan
Yes.
and the reviews of your program, so thank you for sending that. It seems like you've put some thought into this. So why don't you walk me through in terms of your employment opportunities? Because I think that that's a key part of keeping you on track. You say that you have a lot of skills in automotive.
Yes, I have my ASC certifications. I went to Porter and Chester 2015. I graduated 2017. I immediately started working at Meineke, and from there I went to Midas, and as I switched jobs, you know, the pay got better. I do have employment upon release. I will be either working for City Transmission or West Main Auto. And I will also do the professional coaching on the side, which is part of my recovery.
Okay, so you're coming back to Waterbury.
I won't be living in Waterbury. My sponsor's out of New Haven, East Haven. I will be living there, but my employment would be in Waterbury.
Okay, so when you say you're talking about Mr. Ray,
Yes, Ismail Ray.
so he's in New Haven.
Yes, East Haven, Connecticut.
So your past employer is taking you back. And in terms of your relapse prevention plan, what does that look like in terms of matching your work with your work on yourself to keep you?
Well,
sober?
I have a reentry. I have a reentry plan. Also have a reentry resources. I will follow up with NAAA, and like I said, CCART is a big factor to me, and I love being a recovery coach, and I do plan to help people get in the path of recovery.
Where do you plan on doing that? Have you made arrangements?
Yeah, I haven't made arrangements yet, but I do have my CCART certificate here. I do have it here, and I do plan to follow up out of New Haven. Or the closest place that I can get to them.
Have you identified where the NA and NA meetings are going to be?
NA and AA meetings will be in the downtown area of New Haven. Is located by Church Street or on, I think it's on Temple Street. I have the address in here somewhere to be exact.
Okay. So, you know, when we see someone, Mr. Rivera, with your history, and, you know, it's been roughly 30 years of convictions in and out. Tell me the moment where the change happened for you, that you realized that this can't continue the way it's continuing.
Well, being that I'm my age now and going through this moment of this disease of addiction and putting myself in and out of harm's way and putting these chemicals into my body is not in me no more. When I first got remanded back to prison, I could easily put myself on medicine, but I chose not to. So what I did was I did a healthy detox and a healthy recovery that has led me to this point to figure out that I want to be a recovery coach.
50 bags a day, was about what your use was?
Yes. That was what my use was. That's a lot, yes, I know.
That's a real lot. So I commend you for the work that you've done. I also am curious about, you have no discipline reports this time, but you have a pretty colorful history of getting a lot of them in your previous incarcerations.
Yes.
What changed this time to make you realize that you had to stay discipline free?
Well, being that I was going through what I was going through in the beginning of my sentence, and I told myself, this is enough. I can't keep doing this no more. Doing the programs and dealing with like-minded individuals has taught me to be civilized, and then joining the Second Chance program has taught me a lot about other people's and their problems, and combining my problems has taught me to be civilized.
All right. I think that's all I have for you. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case, sir, and we'll come back to you shortly with our decision.
Yep.
Is that processing?
Okay. Mr. Rivera has a little bit of a criminal history and addiction issues that have plagued him for quite a few years. This most recent incarceration, he has done very well in terms of remaining discipline-free, seems to have a deeper understanding of the addiction pathway, and has done well in his programs, and as well has been able to join the Second Chance unit where he's done additional programs. He had a job within the kitchen where it was noted that it is a very demanding job, and he got very good evaluations over the last 9 months. And he has connected with CCAR, which is part of his reentry plan. He does have a friend in New Haven who is willing to house him, and he has already set himself up to understand what he needs to do with NA, AA, as well as what he'd like to do in terms of be of service to CCAR. He does have a skill set that will probably be something easy for him to continue, and he does say that he has potential employment at a previous employer ready for him upon release. So I believe, is this a flat sentence?
It is.
Yeah. So I think that based on the insights that I've seen and read about and his accomplishments, as well as his reentry plan, he has put some time and effort into this. The only person who's going to lose is you, Mr. Rivera, if you can't continue on the path that you've set up for yourself. So I'd be willing to give him a chance and have him have some supervision over the next several months.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Paul? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think it's important, given that he's applied sentence, and he does sound good today.
Mhm.
He's on the right path. All right, so I have co-defendant. Anything else?
No, I appreciate for this moment. I know that parole.
Sorry,
is a
I was
privilege.
talking to them.
Oh.
Sorry.
I only have co-defendant
Okay.
as well.
Very good. In the matter of Javier Rivera, MA number 194593, I'll move to grant parole effective today, March 26th, 2025, with the following additional condition: no contact with your co-defendant, Luis Vega. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir. Keep working on yourself. We wish you the best, okay?
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Javier Rivera, number 194593.
Hello.
How's it going? It's Mr. Andrews, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Good to go with Mr. Andrews.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Morning, my name is Officer Shamrock. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing in the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. While board members are present this morning, by state their names on the record, certified that they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
And I'm
Good morning.
Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Jason Andrews, 288-319.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jason Andrews, looking up to 288-319. He's serving a sentence of 10 years, execution suspended after 5 years, followed by 5 years probation for criminal possession of a firearm, electronic defense weapon, violation of probation for the underlying offense, sale of hallucinogen narcotics. He was also convicted of the failure to appear first and received 2 years execution suspended for 5 years probation. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of July 13, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following program. Tier 2, voices, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offenders overall scored. The SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you for giving me the chance to explain myself. I feel like I haven't, any other time I've made parole, I didn't feel like I was grown. This time, they had me do tier 2 voices, and I voluntarily did a program called People Empowering People. And they also made me a mentor of it. So there I learned the steps that I needed, the tools that I needed for me to better myself and empower myself, not to make the choices I was making. I'm not a violent person. I just, excuse me for taking long, you know, it's on the spot. I didn't write nothing. It's coming straight from the heart, from the stomach. So, you know, but I just feel like I've grown a lot more than I have. And I feel like I can be productive. I have a plan, relapse prevention plan. I have a sponsor. My relapse prevention plan consists of working, going to meetings, getting involved with my community, community service, anything I can do to keep me busy and keep me away from the people that I associated myself with. I'm too old to be worrying about, where can we hang out? What can we do? I have to focus on getting my life together. I'm 41 years old. I don't have a career. I want to turn my life around and be a drug counselor because I've had struggled with addiction my whole life. So while I was a mentor in the People Empowering People program, you know, I met a couple people that were in it, and they're in the community around my area, which is in London County, from a little town, Griswold. And he told me that when I come home, whenever that may be, to get in touch with him, I have his number.
And he'll try to point me in the right direction because he turned his life around. He's 60-something years old now, and he's doing great. He's a mentor. He does programs. He comes to the jail, talks, speaks. So I have a sponsor that I call twice a week while I'm in here. I'm looking forward to building a better relationship out there with him, but he talks to me, and, I talk to my father. My father's 88 years old. And, he always tells me all the time, I want you to turn your life around before I go. I need you to turn your life around. And I keep telling Dad, I got you. But now I've always told him I got you when I mess up. But now I feel like it's time. It's my last chance. I'm getting too old. I'm not violent. I don't have no intentions of being violent. I just have an addiction, and it gets in the way of my choices that I make. I can't blame it on nobody else. I can't blame it on the addiction, even though it plays a part. It's all about my decisions I make. And I just have to better myself in my decisions and what I want out of life. And now I truly know what I need and have to do and want out of life. And the tools that I utilize from tier 2 is the relapse prevention plan. To have a plan when I go out there, I have employment. My friend, he owns a roofing company, so he told me as soon as I get out, I could go to work for him to try to put money in my pocket instead of going to the streets trying to hustle and get money. And he said he knows that I'm not going to stay with him for long because of the plans I have on being a drug counselor. So I told him, yeah, I'll definitely come to work. So I have a job. My family's supportive. Even though I lost a few members of my family, there's only a few of us left. And it's like every time I come to jail, I hurt my family. And I realize that now. I'm always, me. But really, when you come to jail, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting your loved ones out there. And I never really realized that until now. So I just hope maybe you guys grant me one more chance and I can prove to you I can do it. I know I messed up.
All right, Mr. Andrews, we're going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yeah.
You've been here before. We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. Andrews.
Good morning.
So just to start with, I'm concerned here. You were on parole and you had a gun on parole. Right? Like,
yes.
We're supposed to be getting out there and following the rules, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
The situation with the gun, at the end of the day, I did have possession of it. When they found it, it was in a shed. My friend left it at my house. I found it. So what I did was put it in my shed. I wasn't running around the town with it. I wasn't going nowhere with it. So when parole came to my house, I had texted my friend that has a gun permit and asked him if he wanted to buy the gun. And he told me, no, he couldn't do nothing because it was paperwork. Me, I should have at least tried to call an officer and say, I didn't know, I have a felon, so I don't know if I could call the police station and be like, I have a gun that was left here. Can you guys come get it? I don't want to get charged. I was scared of that. So I try to go about it it's not right, but I try to give it to someone that has a gun permit. He said, no, you couldn't do nothing with paperwork. So I put it up in my shed. When the police came, they looked, my parole officer searched for it, looked for it, took me back to jail to timeout program. So while I was there, they followed my the ankle monitor, seen that I was outside. They went to my shed and got the gun. The gun did not have a clip and there was no bullets. But that doesn't justify the fact that I didn't, I made the wrong choice and tried to get rid of it and held on to. I should just threw that thing away. I made a mistake. I'm not a bad kid. I'm not a bad man. I don't have no intentions of being out in the streets with a gun or anything like that. So, I know I made a mistake and I own up to that. It's just, my choices was clouded too from using drugs. I understand where you're coming from, sir.
And if I back up a step, right?
Yes.
Gun was left there. Who you hanging around with that's got a gun?
No, you're absolutely right. I did not know. I did not know that because I let my friends stay at my house while I was incarcerated to watch, to take care of the house or help my father out and everything like that. So when I came home, I started cleaning. I told him he had to leave before I came home. He couldn't be at my house because he was on probation. So I was like, bro, I got parole, you have to leave. He's like, all right, no problem, I'll be out of there. So when I came home, I was cleaning. He left it in the closet in the room that he was staying in. So I'm like, what the is this? Like, bro, I'm on parole. So I had called him twice, asked him to come get it. He ended up getting locked up. So that's when I decided to put it up in the shed. I had no intentions of doing any illegal stuff with it. So
so there's, the other piece here is that in December, you get a ticket for THC.
yes, so I had lost, like I got PTSD and everything else. So I'm prescribed for marijuana, but I was going through a tough time. I lost my sister and my cellie, seeing how I was aggravated and, I just didn't, I was going through a tough time and my cellie offered it to me and said, hey, this will calm you down, man, just like before you do something stupid, and I ended up smoking and they popped it random on us. And
So when did you take tier 2?
why did I take tier 2? To get me off of cocaine?
No, when? Before that ticket?
Yes, I did, yes.
July.
5? Did I take tier 2 to?
No, I mean.
No, I said July.
You don't
Sorry.
need to,
July.
yeah, you don't need to say why. We know why.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah,
like, I'm in prison. Drugs shouldn't even be here, but they are. And
absolutely.
it took tier 2, and instead of trying to deal with something really bad in a way that's not in an addictive way, I choose to smoke instead, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I'm sure the smoke instead leads to crack and leads to fentanyl and leads to stuff like that if you're out here. Right? Because once you open the door is open.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
So you said that you had a relapse prevention plan out here. You
Yes.
said that you have a sponsor.
Yes.
You have a sponsor. What sponsor is that person?
Sponsor
Sponsor
for
what?
for crack cocaine for addiction. For addiction, like you know what I mean? As far as the rooms doing classes and everything like that. For me, for myself to not
What kind of classes?
yeah. Programs like NAAA, the rooms.
Have you engaged with CCAR at all?
C-card, no, yes, they won't let me because my ticket clears in April. So they say after that, then I can attend.
And then, so your ticket clears in April, what's your plan from there?
My plan is I still go to NA and AA, but my plan is to stay sober and stay active in these rooms and groups and meetings and keep talking to my sponsor and just stay sober and work on my relapse prevention.
Think a good plan might be to get out of H-Storm?
Huh?
Think a good plan maybe to get out of H-Storm and to maybe try to get into E-Dorm?
Yes, absolutely. That would definitely be a good one. Yes,
Because you need help.
I know I do.
You need help.
I know I do, sir.
41 and you need to stop doing this.
You're absolutely right.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Did I read somewhere, Mr. Andrews, that you started using drugs at the age of 35?
Yes. No, the hard drugs, yes.
Oh, you
cocaine.
started using crack cocaine and fentanyl at 35?
Yes.
What did you use
No.
prior to that?
It was around, yeah, it was around 35, 30, yes. Yep.
What were you using prior to that?
Marijuana and alcohol. And cocaine.
So you've always been an addict, but you've just upped the ante a little bit.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you do see people around you dying from fentanyl overdoses. Why would you choose to increase your drug use and poisoning of your body?
It's a sickness. I can't, it's just,
I mean, you do understand for our purposes, you really have not shown to be a good candidate for a community release with 19 failures.
yes, I understand that.
I mean, your parole alone in a year and a half, you violated your parole 4 times.
Yes.
And the offenses are increasing as well. It's too much. And with this recent disciplinary report, I mean, you knew you were coming to parole. You had just finished tier 2 a few months prior. It's like you're sabotaging yourself. You need to do more. There's more work to be done, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
why
I don't think I can add much more. Go ahead.
No, that's why I've been since then, I've been trying to get into other classes. I've been going to NAAA while I'm here. I've just been doing whatever I can to just prove that, you know?
Yeah. And a buddy left a gun at my house is not a good explanation for someone who's on parole.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Ms. Applesessen?
Thank you. So, Mr. Andrews, in terms of your programming and gaining insight, have you come to a point where you understand what's causing you to continue to offend? I mean, my colleague mentioned sabotaging yourself, and that's when you look at your criminal history, that's kind of what I see as well. Have you thought about what might be causing this? Is all of these crimes that you've committed, were they all intertwined with your addictions?
Yes, my addictions, my depression. I just, once I start getting like, you know, I get depressed and I just get in that, I get the fuckets and I'm like, excuse my language, but you know, and it's just bad and I spiral out of control. That's why now I've never had a sponsor before. It's like he's helped me, like me talking about my problems, everything that what I need to do, the steps I need to make, why am I making these mistakes? You know, we talk about a lot of that stuff and what I need to do when I get out as far as just baby steps I have to take to fight this addiction.
You know, I'd like to leave you with, I think you're making good progress. You're taking the right programs. You're starting to see that insight. I think it's great that you're a mentor in the People Empowering People program, and you got a great review in terms of your work in the laundry. So I encourage you to keep working on yourself, because I think at 41, I think you're getting there.
Thank you. I feel from my soul that I know I can do this.
Okay. All right. Give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll get back to you shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Mr. Andrews has tried a couple of these programs and has risen to the level of a mentor in People Empowering People. However, his parole supervision in the last 5 years, which are 3 different times, have all ended not well. He got the DR in December, which there he made the decision, instead of dealing with what he needed to deal with was to use drugs again. And when that happens, we get offenses like what we have here. I certainly don't want to discourage Mr. Andrews, but I don't see how we can do something for him today.
Yeah, there's no way. The ticket hasn't even cleared yet and he's in front of parole. I mean, you know, he's got a long way to go. He's got, you know, almost almost 3 years to go, so I hate to deny him outright, but I don't know what more there is for him to do. What are your thoughts, Ms. Appleset?
I think that there's work to be done, but I think I would, I don't know that I want to go to the end of sentence. I think it would be worth a rehear if we could do positive programs. Honestly, I know we can't escalate his addiction services programs, but I just think that, I don't know. I would be willing to rehear.
He has an opportunity there to advocate for himself. There's 2 dorms there, 3 dorms there that are very
Yeah.
positive places for him to be.
I'd have to go at least a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I agree.
okay. In the matter of Jason Andrews, inmate number 288319, I'll move to deny parole at this time. We'll rehear the case in March of 26. Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
In 1 year, March of 2026, reasons for denial, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate evidence of offender change. We're going to recommend that you continue with positive programming and avoid any future disciplinary reports. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are you in favor? Did
Aye.
you say aye? Okay. All right. Do you understand what we're doing? We're going to bring you back in a year so you can continue to work on yourself.
Okay, when do you guys bring me back? So I
In
know.
a year.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
This concludes the hearing for Jason Andrews, inmate number 2888. How you doing, Mr. Cubiz?
Good afternoon, how are you?
Good. We're gonna go ahead and get started with your case.
Yes.
Morning. My name is Rob Shamroy. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Board members are present this morning. State their names on the record. Certified that have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Full.
And I'm Ellen Zafo Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and any number for the record.
Jose Cubiz, 233-612.
Chairman, committee production to consideration of the parole application for Jose Cubiz, May number 233612, is serving a sentence of 7.5 years, followed by 4.5 years special parole, 4 counts robbery first, violation of probation with underlying offense, 2 counts failure to appear second, violation of probation with the underlying offense is threatening second and assault third, and a violation of probation with the underlying offense is failure to appear second and assault third. As of today, records reflect the parole ability date of September 14, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offenders completed the following programs: Tier 2, Tier 4, domestic violence and voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the moderate range for his firm recipients. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time. I do understand that parole is a privilege, not something that's just given, and I appreciate this opportunity to be heard. I want to apologize to the victims in my case, those people who were in the business establishments that I robbed, my ex-wife, my children, and everyone else who I've hurt. And I did write something. Almost 6 years ago, I was a horrible person. After my 20-year marriage ended in divorce, I fell into a very deep depression. I relapsed on drugs, and cocaine brought me to my knees. I am guilty of all my crimes that I was charged with and deserve my sentence. I am ashamed of my actions and remorseful for the people that I hurt. I hated the person I've become, and I realized that I am fully responsible for becoming that person. So I decided to hold myself accountable and recreate myself
into the man that I want to be, a good father, trustworthy, unselfish, drug-free, and loving. Faith without works is dead, so I got busy working on myself over these last 6 years. It wasn't a perfect journey. I've had some few bumps in the road, few DRs for being selfish with the phones and taking phone calls that I wasn't supposed to. Also losing my temper and speaking crazy to a correctional officer. But besides that, I also got into every single program and class that was available to help me to become a better man. I completed not one, 2 domestic violence classes, 2 drug programs, a parenting course, a carpentry class. I participated in the American Vet Dog Program, training dogs for disabled veterans. And I also did the Prison of Peace program where I became a peer mentor. I am a full-time student at Aspentock Community College, currently on the dean's list, working on my business degree. I need 6 more credits to graduate. And I have completed Tier 4 program, which is programmed in housed in a therapeutic community. And I was a mentor in that community over at Osborne before I got transferred here. I am also a member of NA and AA. I attend 3 to 5 meetings a week. And I've recently completed the Recovery Coach Academy through CCAR. And I plan on joining my local office at 142 Temple Street in New Haven, Connecticut as a recovery coach. I really feel like I found my calling in this. As far as my plan for when I go home, besides CCAR, which is going to be my #1 thing, I also previously held a real estate license in Connecticut, and I am going to renew that upon my release in order to work as a part-time realtor. I have a very strong support network, which includes my business partner. We do have a small business set up ready for me to go as soon as I come home. It's called Connecticut Home Solutions. And I have a very strong support also as well as NA sponsors, family, and religious services. So I do hope and pray that you guys give me an opportunity to get out a little sooner. But again, I understand that it's a privilege and not a right. And I thank you very much for your time. That's what I have.
All right. Thank you for your statement. We appreciate that. I missed one thing that you said at the end there. What is the shop that you own?
So my business partner and I have a small business called CT House Flippers, but we recently changed the name to CT Home Solutions.
Home Solutions.
Yes.
What do you do?
So it's going to be a full service real estate company. Everything from sales to acquisitions to rehabilitations, and also training programs.
All right. You've done really well. You've taken all the programs, you know. I did not have that you were in college courses. Are you taking courses right now?
Yes, I have orientation on the 20th, tomorrow actually, tomorrow. I need 6 more credits to complete. So I'm trying to get my last 2
Wait a minute.
classes.
Have you been taking classes throughout your incarceration?
Yes.
And through the
Yes,
program?
Yes.
And how many credits do you have to date?
I have 54 credits. 54.
Wait, I did have, these are the 5. I did have, you have an associate's degree from Ms. Nuntuck. No?
No, I'm working
You're
on my
working on your,
associate.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, can't read my own writing, sorry, I have one. And the American Vet Dog Program, do you have a dog? Are you a handler?
No, that was at MacDougall, CI.
Okay. Yeah,
while I
how
was
long did you do
there.
that for?
I did it for about 6 months before I got transferred. I got transferred, and I did have a dog. His name was Brady. He was a black Labrador. He's actually down in Florida now as an emotional support dog. So we trained him on how to help disabled veterans. And then, he's actually in the community helping someone now.
That's great. Okay, well, I'm glad you've been able to give back and do all this work while you're incarcerated, because you certainly did take from the community, right? I mean,
yes.
I mean, these offenses are disturbing. Like, you were robbing everybody. And I understand it was for drug money. You were using crack cocaine?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like you have a really good plan. You're very involved in the sober community while you're incarcerated, and you're going to continue that on the outside. You have a job lined up. You got a sentence modification, right? Last year?
Yes.
So
I
you got
did.
a half year off. They added it to the special parole, but you're going to be doing well. So that's not an issue, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it really would be a shame to waste all of this work that you've done. So I really hope that you'll be successful this time. Yeah, I mean, I have so many notes here. You didn't finish the domestic violence program while you were in the community, so you'll need to do that. You understand when you go out, right?
Yes, yes, I do understand that.
But you've taken it inside, you said already twice, so that shouldn't be a problem. You want to sponsor to a friend's house. You know, I did read the tickets. We don't like any tickets, but I understand there's no violence. You're not using drugs. They really were stupid, just poor choices that you made. You understand that now. Sure.
Very poor
Yeah.
choices, yes.
Are you in contact with your kids?
Unfortunately, no, not at this time.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. You know, I hope that someday you can repair those relationships and be a better father to them.
Well, that is one of my top priorities. I know it's going to take time. I heard them, and you know they don't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I understand. So hopefully I can show them something with my new life that'll make them want to talk to me again.
Yeah, good. So what does a day in the life of the change unit look like for you?
So I am involved in actually facilitating groups, and I was a mentor at Osborne. Here, I'm just a regular guy in the community. I haven't been here long enough to be a mentor because I just got here.
Okay.
But it's in me. I just, you know, I see a young guy that's not really understanding what NA or AA is about, and I just feel drawn to him to talk to him about how important it is to deal with addiction.
Yeah.
Because without, you know, addressing that, there's so many, including myself, so many of us in here now who addiction is a big reason why we make so many bad decisions. So a day for me in the change unit is facilitating groups and talking to young guys.
What are the groups there? What groups are you facilitating?
So NA, Narcotics Anonymous meetings.
Yeah.
I also facilitate a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Okay.
And then there are groups being called all day long that you could just volunteer to go to. So I try to get to as many of those as I can.
Okay.
And just stay involved in those positive conversations all day long.
Okay. And you have school, of course. Do you work in the facility?
Not in this facility. I haven't been able to get a job yet. No,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're busy anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues, see what questions they have. Ms. Applesessen?
Yes, so you had referenced the divorce as a critical point in terms of increasing your depression and your drug use, but your criminal history goes back to 96 as an adult.
Yes.
Were drugs an integral part of everything that was happening through that time?
Yes, I started using drugs at a very early age. I was about 13 years old when I first experimented with cocaine. And I was, you know, it all went downhill from there. So I started making poor decisions at a very early age.
In terms of the support network, you've referenced your business partner, and obviously you'll be in the recovery community. You've talked about trying to rebuild relationships with your family. Is there anybody other than your children in your family that you have relationships with?
My mother is she's one of my rocks. Her and my business partner are my two best friends in the world. And I talk to her often.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
I'm also.
All right. So it really does appear that Mr. Cubiz is doing great. He's involved in so many things, and he has all the tools. He just has to get out there and prove that he can be successful for this 4.5 years of special parole coming up. So I would grant, got to do domestic violence. I mean, do we want to list the banks from 6 years ago? No, or not the bank, but yeah, there were, no. All right, so just domestic violence, anything else? No?
No.
Okay. All right, in the matter of Jose Cubiz, amendment number 233612, I'll move to grant parole on or after September 14th, 2025, with the additional condition of a domestic violence program in the community. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir, congratulations. Use all these tools, okay? And certainly sounds like you're going to be successful.
Okay,
We wish you the best.
thank you so much. Were those my stipulations? Those,
Yeah, so you'll get a list of standard parole conditions, and we added one, domestic violence program. We want you to take that in the community.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
You'll get it in writing. Thank you.
okay. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
This concludes the hearing for Jose Cubiz, inmate number 233612.
Thank you.
How you doing, Mr. Davis?
Good morning.
Gonna go ahead and get started with your case. Good afternoon, my name is Officer Sherman. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this afternoon. If I state their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information for preparation of this.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good afternoon, Michael.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Dante Davis, 388838.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Dante Davis, inmate number 388838. He's serving a sentence of 20 years, execution suspended after 8 years, followed by 5 years probation for criminal possession of a firearm. And he received a suspended 12-year sentence, followed by 5 years probation for sale of narcotic substance, which is consecutive to his 8-year period of expiration. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility dated June 28, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs: Tier 4, Voices, and Embracing Fatherhood. Utilized and statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offender's overall score in the SRT falls within the higher range for disorder recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. I wrote a little something here, if you guys could bear with me.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to thank the board for seeing me this morning, as I know that parole is not a given, it is earned. Today I come before you asking for a chance to be released back into the community after about 3.5 years of incarceration. Along this journey, I've been through various stages of change in order to undo my former lifestyle, which consisted of criminal behaviors and thinking. It didn't happen overnight for me, but through my willingness to be a better person, I transformed my way of thinking. And today I can reflect on how I got to such a point in my life where I'm clear-headed and steadfast about my life, my future goals, and how I will conduct myself moving forward. I got the Osborne CI in November of 2021. As I got to the cell designated for me, I realized I was in a real prison. The bars were reminiscent of prisons I had only seen in movies. I immediately started to think of ways I could get out of this prison and get to another one that could possibly have better conditions. I learned fast that wasn't going to be possible. However, someone mentioned to me that if I got a job in the kitchen, I would get moved to a dorm setting that was a much better living situation than the cells I was currently housed in. So I did. I signed up for a job, something I hadn't had in probably 16 years. Shortly after I was accepted for the job, they moved to the dorm where kitchen workers were housed at. Started working in the kitchen the next day in the scully where most people start. I was nervous and uncomfortable, and it felt like a tough job. It was dirty, hot, and it smelled bad all the time. As a couple weeks passed by, I started to enjoy it, though. The camaraderie between my coworkers and I set in on me. We set goals amongst each other and worked in the scullery to keep it clean, and we worked together to be as diligent and efficient as possible. I started to take pride in my work, which didn't go unnoticed by the supervisors, who then promoted me to the backup position, which is a position of a person in charge of making sure the child line has all the necessary items of food needed for the specific meal being served at the time. After that, I was promoted to diet cook, where I took
a lot of pride in the next 6 months of my responsibility. So much that even when the kitchen block was moved back to the same cells I had wanted to escape from so bad, it didn't bother me because I was so focused on the job and started to feel like it wasn't work all the time. I felt a sense of purpose. I also realized at the time that I had better start checking off my list of things for my OAP after conversations with other inmates letting me know that if I intended to go home on any kind of community release, that it was important. So I signed up for Tier 4, and a month or so later, I had to leave the kitchen. I got into Tier 4 1 year into my sentence, and although I had not gotten into any trouble and had a job, I had not yet considered what my future was going to be like once I left prison. Tier 4 was about to change all of that. Once I got there and saw how the program was run with all kinds of structure, 165 rules that I wasn't used to at all, I contemplated leaving, but I knew I needed to complete it, so I stayed and followed the rules and tried my best to coast through the program. By the time I was there for a month, I had completed phase 1 and moved on to phase 2 of the program, where I started to participate in group discussions more and found myself being an active member of the community, volunteering for chores and attending more meetings that were peer-led in the unit. Before I knew it, I had learned some things about addiction, even though I had always considered myself to be a person who had no need for that kind of information. Fast forward a couple more months and I'm in phase 3, almost done with the program, and just as life does to so many people, I was smacked in the face with reality. I got the news December 16, 2022, that my brother had died just a month short of his 21st birthday. I was hurt and felt alone, away from my family, left to deal with this on my own. One of my Tier 4 counselors called me down to speak with me after learning of the death of one of my family members and asked me who and what happened. I explained that it was my brother and that he had died from an acute, immediate intoxication from fentanyl in a mix of his anxiety medication. After sharing her similar story of losing a sister to addiction with me, her next words would help pivot my life into a whole new direction by having the courage in that moment to say to me, how does it feel that your brother has passed away due to the very same drug that you were in the community dealing to other people? At that moment, I got a glimpse of the weight that I now had to carry on my shoulders and in my heart. I was embarrassed and ashamed, especially knowing that I was the one who had exposed my brother to that lifestyle. I was his older brother who had raised him, and he looked up to me so much. Every day I contemplated what I could do to make this pain go away, and I had no answers, and I floated through the days that followed. Shortly after, I got a ticket for using someone else's phone pin to make extra calls. I started to use the phone excessively and selfishly, and didn't think of others who wanted to call their family and loved ones. My criminal thinking had crept back in, and I had made excuses to myself that I had a death in my family and it should be okay, but it wasn't. And in reality, I was having distorted thinking. I was removed from the program just short of finishing because I had a Class A ticket, which is the protocol. The next day, the unit manager of the program called me into her office and asked me what I wanted to do. I asked her what she meant by that, and she said, you can come back in 60 days, resume where you left off, and finish the program and graduate and move on. Or you can come back in 30 days, start the program all over from scratch, become a leader and a mentor eventually because you have the time left on your sentence to do it, and I know you can do it, Dante. I knew right away and didn't hesitate to tell her I'd come back in the 30 days. I knew what I had to do. I came back in 30 days after being in the cell with someone who got high every single day. I was ready to help people like I had tried to help my cellmate. I got back to Tier 4, started over and paid attention, ever so detailed this time around, every step of the way. I became an elder and then a mentor in phase 2, which usually you can't do until you're in phase 3. Taking pride once again in a job that I never figured to have, and this time I was helping people and myself, giving me a feeling of gratification and gratitude for the position of that the counselors had entrusted in me. I learned as much as I possibly could about addiction and what the people dealing with this sickness go through daily. I want to take this time to apologize to the entire addiction community today for my actions over those past years. I was ignorant to your circumstances and selfishly taking advantage of you and your families. I want you to know that I've taken the steps to be a more productive human being and have gained the necessary tools to make amends to that community. I am now a certified recovery coach through CCAR. I'm currently being housed at Cybulski CI in the change unit, where every day we recite a philosophy reminding us that change begins today. I'm still learning every day through meetings, programs, and a recovery-based community ran by Council Supervisor Gaudet, where we have countless tools to utilize to remain true to the recovery process. I also have taken a real estate practice exam twice, passing with a 90 and a 95 score of the Catherine Pancake Real Estate Practice and Law Book. As I'm going to pursue being a real estate agent, I gained a passion for studying the book, and I feel very strongly that I will do well in that field. I've also secured a job offer from Family Options, located at 115 Waterbury Road in Prospect, Connecticut, as a client support coordinator. I've secured this through a family friend named Candace Eggleston Regan. She's the executive director of the company. I also secured a job offer from Bazzoodles at 400 Industrial Ave, Cheshire, Connecticut, as a selector. My brother-in-law's been there for over 10 years, and his supervisor has made countless offers to me. His name is Gasmore Salary. He's spoken to him recently, and that offer is still current. Also, I'll be volunteering at the C-Car Center in Waterbury on 132 Grand Street. I've had optimistic employment conversation over the past year with Melissa, who is the program manager of C-Car for DOC. This is a short glimpse of who I was, who I am today, and who I have carefully planned to be in the future. And I'm extremely humbled by this experience, but optimistic about what my life will be moving forward for me. Again, I'd like to apologize to the addiction community for my poor decisions of my past, and it's not lost on me the damage that I caused, and I have an immense sense of remorse towards that community. I'd also like to apologize to my mom, my children, my children's mother, and my sisters for the heartache I've caused over the past 3.5 years. I'm sorry, and thank you for your time.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Davis, for that statement. We definitely appreciate it. We're going to ask you some questions, and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Zaposassi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon.
You know, I found your statement to be very compelling because as I read through some of the reports about you, it was really hard for me to see who the real Dante Davis was because it was a study in contrast. You're a businessman profiting off of the drug trade, making thousands of dollars a week, and that's how you supported your family. And you touted yourself as a good dad, as someone who cared about his family. And that's hard to understand when you know that. How would you feel if people were selling your kids the drugs that you were peddling and caught them up in that cycle? So it's good to see that you've actually, you know, the lens of what you're looking at now is a little clearer in terms of what you did to the community, because it appeared to me by the amount of money that was discussed in the police reports, you had a far-reaching customer base in terms of the effects that your drugs were having on a community. So I appreciate that you've made this significant effort in acknowledging that and apologizing and are remorseful for the role that you've played. And you've had personal loss that is very, very clearly related to this. So I hope that in effect was something that's motivating you. You know, your criminal history showed in some cases a very blatant lack of respect for the law and compliance for what we expect in terms of public safety and people following rules. So that being said, that's the negative piece. I do want to pivot to, you know, just emphasizing what you've brought to us today is someone who appears to be embracing change and wanting to be a better person. And your program piece is important. I appreciate your explanation about what happened your first go around in Tier 4, and that makes sense. And I appreciate the fact that you are, you know, in essence, owning everything that has transpired. This was a 30-page police report, which, you know, is a little above average, but there was a significant amount of community effort put into this sting that they finally had that arrest. It was a task force effort. You know, the community damage that's done there is significant. So the fact that you've worked hard in programming is important to me. You've talked a lot about the Tier 4 and you've covered voices. You've done fatherhood, which is important because you have young kids. And I appreciate the connection to C-Car. You know, moving forward, do you feel that you can make a living at the level that which you're accustomed with the jobs that you've outlined?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, it's for me, the C-Car is more about making amends to the community. I lost my brother to the very same thing I was putting on the community. So that to me is more from my heart than anything. As far as the money, I've learned in here, you know, money isn't everything. And for a long time, that's how I lived my life. And I'm you know, being honest, that was what I did every day. You know, I thought about money. In here, I learned that, you know, losing my brother and being away from my young children, there's more important things in life. And C-Car starts at $25 an hour. I've done my math. I could make a living off of that. And I feel like I have a passion for the real estate agent field. Obviously it relates to some of what I've done before. I believe, my mom used to tell me all the time, you should be a car salesman or something, So, doing that part-time, being a real estate agent part-time, I think I could do pretty well, working full-time at C-Car and doing real estate part-time.
Because this is going to be a big change for you. This is legal employment, which you
Yes,
have
and
not in your history.
I'm excited about it.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you. I mean, you did 10 months of the Tier 4 program, so you
10
learned
months in
you
the
should
Tier
have
4
learned a
program?
lot. Yeah.
No, I did almost 2 years in Tier 4.
Oh,
I
2
was
years.
I was a
Because
mentor
you
for
stayed
almost
on
2 years.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember
That's
when
great.
I was there when you guys came and saw us. I was on that panel of guys that explained what it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it is definitely nice to see all of the positive change. And, we got so many support letters, one from your counselor in the Tier 4 program and excellent evaluation. So it's very clear that your mindset has changed. And, whatever the catalyst was for that, it's a great thing. And I can't wait to see what you do in the community. I think we're all on the same page, right? Standard parole condition?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had nothing else. Yeah. All right. In the matter of Dante Davis, amendment number 388838, I'll move to grant parole effective June 28th, 2025 with standard parole conditions. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right. Congratulations, sir. You've been granted and good luck to you. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
This concludes the hearing for Dante Davis, inmate number 3888. Good afternoon. My name is Officer Sherman. Today is Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. The panel members today are Ms. Jennifer Zaccanini, Ms. Ellen Zappel-Sapsu, and Mr. Michael Boulder, who will be conducting application review set special parole stipulations for Derek Gray, inmate number 05-236.
Okay, so we have, let's see, mental health eval, there's a victim, and halfway house. Do you have anything else? Three. All right, in the matter of Derek Gray, amendment number 305236, look to set the following special parole conditions. No contact with victim, initials MPS, halfway house placement, and a mental health evaluation and treatment if deemed necessary. All in favor? Aye.
05.
All right, just give me a moment. I'm switching it over right now. I'm trying to get the other stream going, and once it starts up, then we'll go ahead and continue. See here. How is everybody doing today? Let me see. Did the last guy get out? Yeah, he did. That dude. Hey, you know what? I would rather have that guy come out than some of those guys that got released on Friday with them bad charges. Hey, has anybody seen that video that I clipped? The Wizinator? I had no idea what a Wizinator was up